Stop talking about it and do something!
Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Really?
It's like a gentle hate.
Do we have another benevolent service? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you benevolent with your friends?
I am moving on. I think I'm coming out of the fire closet.
This is so fucking depressing. I can't be a flat earth person.
Can't have it both ways. Can't have a flat earth and things making sense.
Good evening, YouTube, and welcome to another edition of Gem's Flat Earth Sunday Roast. We're back once again with the show they don't want you to see. And in tonight's show, we bring you the very best from the whole of last year in Conspiratania. Yes, it's the big flat review of 2024, featuring the best of the best clips from the last year, including Arwen divorces Oakley, Oakley banishes Whitsitt, Whitsitt does press-ups, allegedly Dane wants to be our leader, Joe Hanby wants to be our saviour, and Sleeping Warrior thinks everyone is going to die. It's our biggest show ever, with the very best of over 50 hours of conspiratard lunacy boiled down to a fine reduction of the abject stupidity we all love to hate. Join us. Oh, I don't need to say that bit. Anyway, all this and more in tonight's awesome show. So please stick around. I'm your host, Gem, and as always, joining me with their humorous and insightful commentary are just some of the cool kids from the Debate Flat Earth and More Discord server. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello.
Let's get ready for some stupid.
Oh, God, yes. 37 clips coming your way tonight, which is somewhat of an increase from the normal targeted 20 that I do. So lots of clips to come, lots of shorter clips as well, you might be pleased to hear. Kicking off tonight then with, he says as he gets to the right bit of the script, as always we start tonight with a funny clip, but not just any funny clip, the funniest clip of last year, in my view. Enjoy. I love that.
Oh, that was great.
Her neighbors must love her.
I love
You really
that.
need some background music for that clip, Gem. Some like a Humpty Dumpty type music.
Yeah, maybe. All right, then. The black swan is a phrase we tend to hear a lot. But can you remember at the beginning of last year, we were hearing it in a different context?
Did you see what Kash Patel said about a Black Swan event?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been hearing a lot of people on here talking about an imminent upcoming Black Swan event. Well, that just doesn't make sense to me because, by definition, a Black Swan event is unforeseeable, unpredictable, and isn't planned. Look what's been going on in our country. Look what's been going on around the world. If you think any of this is coincidence or by chance, you're probably the same people that's been calling us crazy right-wing conspiracy theorists.
Well, they were crazy right-wing conspiracy theorists, weren't they? Was there a Black Swan event? Could we say there was one?
They could see the unforeseeable. Yep.
Was the Trump assassination attempt, could that be described as a Black Swan event?
Nah, you could predict that one.
Yeah. I don't even know what a Black Swan event is, really.
There's been multiple presidential assassination attempts, so it's not a one-off.
Yes, it's a popular pastime in your country, isn't it? Okay, the beginning of the year is often a time for marital breakups, and 2024 was no different when Arwen fell out of love with High Priest Oakley. Take a look.
So now he's juxtaposing his stupidity onto a flat earth by stereotype. My God, this is too much to keep up. We've only been into it for 17 seconds. I'm still almost getting interrupted immediately by my own panel. It's not like they can't hear my enthusiasm level going through the roof. It definitely requires Neil to interrupt. Go ahead.
It wasn't Neil, it was me, damn it. And this guy is horrendous. This is like one of the worst trolls.
Thank you. That's such
there.
wonderful colour commentary while I'm pointing out that he's actually defying the definition of science. I really need a colour commentary on how bloody useless he is when I'm commenting on what he actually says, Arwen. Thank you. You carry on.
You're welcome.
No colour commentary. I'm sick of dealing with the comments about it, Arwen. People bitching about you. I'm just going to be blunt from now on. People hate your colour commentary.
This is what's going to happen from now on. So the early bird show is going to start 2 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekdays, and then it's going to continue on until 4 p.m. Amsterdam time. And that's how it's going to be from now on. Because I'm fucking done with Nathan's garbage. At this point, I'm like, no, just fucking stomp Nathan's head in. Just fucking stomp it in at this point. With this shit. Yeah? I'm done with it. I'm fucking done with it. This is not worth it. I'm just gonna do my own show. I had more fun when I was doing my own show. I regret ending the show now. And from now on, I'm not going to do that anymore. So you can all look forward to having longer shows. Because fuck Flat Earth debates. Huh? Hey, I had a great show yesterday, but none of that matters because today, everybody's complaining about your color commentary. Yeah, Nathan? Yeah? Well, then go fuck yourself, and you just have your fucking little shit show troll reviewing crap on your own then. Yeah? You go review shitty ass trolls that are fucking disgusting, obnoxious. Yeah, you go do that then. And I'll just talk about things that don't involve disgusting fucking trolls.
Oh, poor Arwen. Did someone say Arwen came in the server this morning?
He did.
I missed
What?
He was in the text chat for like 10 minutes.
All right, someone
Oh,
ran
he's
him
in the
off
voice
boat.
chat.
Anyway, Brian Peck says, Mary, what the fuck is this, Gem? I think he means is this. He missed out the is. And the great Gertrude Perkins says, speaking of divorce, I do sincerely hope Nathan's wife Paula has left him. He's a psychopath. Yes, I wonder. Anyway, we're picking up some viewers, so just let me explain how it's going to go. It's a great big fat show. There's lots and lots of flat earth stuff in it. There's a few other bits and pieces sprinkled in just for fun. Most of that stuff is towards the beginning, but it's in amongst flat earth stuff. So you can't just bugger off for an hour and then come back and get the flat earth stuff. You'll have missed huge chunks of great stuff if you do that. So please stick around. It's all short clips, so if we're on something that isn't flat earth, we won't be on it long. Like this next clip, which I bet you forgot about. Early last year, there was an alien invasion of a shopping mall. Enjoy.
Oh my God.
Okay, so a few nights ago, over 50 cops and helicopters were called over in a shopping mall area in Miami, Florida. Why were there so many cops? This is just rumors and witness reports that there were 7 to 10 feet tall creatures and beings running around the shopping area and attacking people.
I told you they're going to be short, didn't I? Anyone remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember them being so short. They were pretty tall from what I remember.
Miami, wasn't it?
Yes, I think it was, yeah. I'd completely forgotten about that till I started going through old shows. Anyway, Convoys was still very popular at the start of last year. Do you remember this one? The Take Our Border Back convoy, another convoy that just fizzled out, really, like they all seem to.
And how many people showed up for that convoy?
I was going to say the same thing. How many people showed up?
I don't know. It was pretty pathetic, I think. All that footage was from the one they did the year before that also ended up really going nowhere. But, you know, everyone, after Ottawa, everyone wanted to repeat that, didn't they, in some way, I think.
It's my patriotic blood flowing, Jim Panda.
Right.
Yep, living in the past.
Okay, some more flat stuff now. 2024 was a good year for conspiratard documentaries. Here is Shelley Lewis to tell us about Flatlanders.
But no, we're making a difference and we're making waves because the ball is going down. I came up with this idea after I watched Behind the Curve, and I felt like it just wasn't a representation of everything that we know. So much was left on the cutting room floor, and so what we want to do is take that, which was cut, all the truth, all the facts, and put it into our own docuseries, documentary, and we'll be debunking Behind the Curve, and more importantly, we'll be covering what they didn't cover. Okay, nice.
There's only a tiny little space between that and the peninsula. My name is Jaron Campanella. I have a channel called Jaronism on YouTube. So I found out that there was going to be a documentary called Behind the Curve. Thought it would be fantastic for them to come out and film an experiment. They were going to be pro-flat Earth, that they weren't going to try and make us look bad, or they weren't going to try and make this movement seem silly. They were on our side. So I thought that was good, and I was open to them, you know, filming the experiment and, you know, doing the documentary. But what ultimately happened was they misrepresented an experiment I did by basically taking an out-of-sequence part of it, putting it at the end of a film, and it was just completely out of sequence, misrepresented.
Well, the fiber optic gyro experiments that we were doing, Daniel Clark was very interested in, you know, how they were going and what they were dealing with, and so I told him that we initially, when we got the fiber optic gyro, it measured a 15 degree per hour rotation. He took that and he was extremely interested in it because when I said 15 degree per hour rotation, he automatically assumed that I meant that it meant a 15 degree per hour rotation of the globe. At that point, obviously, we weren't really sure what it was because we were very surprised to get that. But after further investigation, we had found out that there was an experiment called the Michelson-Gale experiment. And the Michelson-Gale experiment measured this 15 degree per hour rotation of the ether, the luminiferous ether. And of course, the luminiferous ether is something that the mainstream kind of dismissed after the Michelson-Morley experiment, and Albert Einstein mathematically dismissed it. When I started talking about that with Daniel, and he wanted to know more, and so I kept emailing him and, you know, giving him updates, and I told him that information very clearly long before the movie ever came out. But for whatever reason, he decided not to use it. He just wanted to put that, that sound bite essentially in there.
No, I saw earlier.
Yeah, right on that peninsula.
Yeah, I saw it.
I think I just saw it.
That's what I thought. I saw it earlier.
Okay, my name is Sydney Silver. I am a flat earth explorer. I was on YouTube and I saw a flat earth video. I couldn't discount half of it. I came back, I saw another video. I was flattened. I just saw the visuals of the buildings not leaning like this on the curve or not leaning away from me on the horizon, and I just started realizing, oh my gosh. So if you look up on Google, it says for a 5'7" person, the horizon should be 2.9 miles out. So even seeing 10 miles is too far. This is a geothermal sea. This is a hot spot of evaporation, and there's a lot of clouds on the water constantly. We have to wait for conditions to be where the water is out of the air, and then we can see clearly across. The science side has been claiming that when you can't see anything because of a cloud, that it's a globe, even if they're up high enough on a berm or something where science says you should be able to see. So last time we were up on a berm and you still couldn't see the other side, and I said, so doesn't that show that it's water in the air, because science says you should be able to see the other side from this elevation? And they were just like, no, no, no. Yeah, the thing is, it is negative sea level here, which does collect with smog. You can see all of here had smog on it today, and lots of fires are around here all the time. But I think it's kind of cool that it's down below sea level, because when it is clear conditions, we're actually on a greater curve supposedly, because we're closer to the core. So it's like their numbers are even off. It should even be more over the curve because we're so down closer to the core supposedly here. So
at the end of the sunset, you have Venus in the sky.
Oh man, that's great. Wow, that works perfect. Come down here, look at this, man. Oh my God.
Setting up some lights for laser observation. 27 miles in this direction.
Capture. We see you guys. Ooh, it's multicolored. From them. That's theirs. I'm gonna hang up because I want to record this. I gotta record.
Yeah. We're gonna do in this lighting.
All right, guys. I think we got it. You're up.
All right, everyone.
Good job, everybody. Yeah. Wow. All right. Thanks, guys. I think that's it. Okay. We're all freezing our asses.
Oh, Dan the Waterman. Expecting Shelley to give him a hug there, I think.
That's the funniest thing you've ever said.
If I was a conspiracy theorist, I might point out might be suspicious that 2 of the people in that clip are now dead.
Oh, jeez. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks, Bob, and rest in peace, Bob.
Bob's dead, and the what's that? Sydney, the blonde-haired girl, is also dead.
I like the part where Dan's holding the little light in his hand. Was that the laser? That little light in his
I
hand?
don't know what he was doing with that. Trying to look useful, I think.
Well, this is just further evidence that flat Earth will kill you.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that they hadn't heard of the Mixing Gale experiment until after they did theirs.
Right.
That's bullshit.
Just such bullshit, isn't it? Just such a pack of lies. Really.
It looks like they were up top looking down to see that light. And you could physically see that the light stopped traveling across the water at some point, like it was being blocked.
Right.
That's weird. If it was flat, shouldn't you see the blue line all the way across the water?
You'll have to tell that to Dan when he's in.
I think we've told him that many times.
Yeah, he'll get very, very upset. Anyway, just let me remind everyone, please feel free to super chat the show or hit the PayPal link in the description, which is even better because I get the money straight away and Google don't get any of it. This show took, well, I mean, you could say it was a year in the making, actually, couldn't you? But it has taken me a good 2 weeks of editing. I have spent a long time on it. So if you want to show your appreciation for that, then that would be very much appreciated by me. Thank you very much. I won't mention that again. Now then, the retired policeman from Birmingham made a few appearances on the show last year. Here he is in action.
My name's Mark Sexton. I'm a retired police constable from Birmingham. Today is Friday, the 2nd of February 2024, and it's approximately 8 p.m. There is blood on these people's hands. There needs to be accountability. It's time that the people of this country stood up and said, what on earth is going on? There has to be a criminal investigation. Metropolitan Police, do your job. We've had enough. How much more evidence do you need? How much more? I will leave a copy of the link where you can find this contract and you can look for yourself at the points that I've raised. And don't worry, social media or governments, if you think that you're going to delete these links. I've got a copy of the contracts, and there's also safe copies with third parties. So delete away. If anybody wants one and they can't find it, I've got this here.
He's got the copies. Anyway, that of course came to nothing, like all of his other stuff.
But were those copies signed and notarized, Jim? I don't think they were.
What it was, what he got
of
there
the
was the contract between, I don't know, one of the manufacturers of the medicine and the South African government, and within that they said they hadn't got statistics for safety or some, I can't remember, but it was something along those lines. He was freaking out about it. Anyway, 2024 was the year that conspiratardism reached the corridors of power. Here is uber-conspiratard MP Andrew Bridgen getting a spanking from a well-prepared Penny Mordaunt.
Andrew Bridgen. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I've always opposed capital punishment on the principle that it's wrong to take a life, so it can't be right for the state to take a life in revenge. Events have caused me to reconsider my position. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, can we have a debate on crimes against humanity and the appropriate punishment for those who perpetuate, collude and cover up for these atrocities and crimes so severe that the ultimate punishment may be required?
I think the honourable gentleman's incredibly subtle question is not lost on anyone in this House where he might be taking it. It is appropriate that the finale of this session, which has featured so heavily conspiracy theories, should fall to the honourable gentleman. And I would just caution him also just to reflect with the things that have been said about his own behaviour, what he does on social media, the security measures that have had to be stepped up for honourable members in this place in the wake of some of his social media tweets and questions in this House. Whatever my disagreements with the honourable gentleman, I will always stand ready to get answers from departments and assist the honourable gentleman in his work. But I'm going to call out on every occasion when he is doing things that are, I think, a danger to our democracy and also the safety and security of members of this House.
Well said. Yes, that was Bridgen, who, you know, had his little performance in Parliament on 2 occasions last year, I think. He managed to actually get what do they call it? I don't know, a speech. He actually managed to get a debate, but it was like the last thing on a Friday afternoon when nobody's there. Which I thought
I'm willing to get behind her.
Well, it's good you guys only spent 30 seconds on this topic, Jim, because that's all that it requires.
Right, yes. But it is part of the history of last year, so I thought I'd include it. Back to some Flat Earth stuff now. Witsit Gets It managed to get himself onto InfoWars last year, and it didn't go well. Take a look.
Do you have any semblance of a model for Flat Earth at all?
Yeah, sure. So it's a tourist field. Just a tourist field, and that explains pretty much everything.
I really just don't think that saying Earth is a tourist field, I mean, that's not a physical description of where we are or how the world is composed or the universe is composed.
And we apply the same logic that we do with everything else that we look into as truthers. Like basically our critique is that we're not a cult of thought. You're right. We all think for ourselves, and we're all trying to figure out what's going on. And there was a cultish belief system presented to us that you're not allowed to question without being ridiculed. We do live in a torus field, even in the globe model. They have to admit this, right? And there's always a plane through the center of it, and that's where you reside, is on the plane. We can't go beneath that, right? And neither can anyone that believes in the globe. So just to clarify that, not to necessarily bring it back, but it perfectly explains where we are, it explains containment, it explains the motions, Lorentz magnetic force, and it's all way, way more viable than the other model. Like,
Not really. We'll be back in about 60 seconds. We'll continue this conversation. We'll overlay those pictures and see if they match.
So this picture they're showing right here is also not proof that the Earth's a globe, because if you look at the same shadow in a plane, you'll actually see that it's out parallel below you, and it's merely a perspective thing.
Okay, but where's the sun in that picture? I mean, and you even said the sun sets below the mountains in the last example that you used, but that doesn't make sense. I mean, the sun doesn't set on a flat Earth model; it just moves away from you, right?
Well, it moves away from you and then looks like it's going down, right? It's just perspective. The same reason that a hallway converges, the sun does the same thing. And actually, we have many observations of the sun disappearing above the horizon. So the sunset happens above the horizon.
We see the sun disappear above the horizon?
Yeah, yep.
Not in the sunsets I've seen. I see it disappear below the horizon.
It is more rare.
But I mean, look, if this tabletop is the Earth, I mean, it doesn't matter how far away the sun gets. If I'm on the tabletop and the sun is above it, I should be able to see it. I mean, light bends. Everybody knows this. This is why I can talk to you through a camera lens, right? Because the lens itself is bending the light.
That's two different media, right? So you have the lens and you have the air. It's two different media. It's called Snell's law, which is two different mediums, but not a singular one. Now, it's not that light can't be displaced within a medium. It's just that that's an unfalsifiable claim. But there are certain observations we've made that falsify the refraction claim. And without refraction, the entire globe falls apart. For example, I had an Air Force pilot reach out to me and has chosen to remain anonymous for pretty obvious reasons. Verified him for sure, Air Force pilot. And he told me that he saw the K2 mountain range from 300 nautical miles away, and he was flying at 28,000 feet altitude, and the elevation of those mountains are at 28,000 feet, and he saw the mountains level with him as he actually, did target acquirement, establishing the landmark with his manual viewing pod. He saw the mountains level with him from 300 miles away.
Yeah, I mean, without proof, you can take his word for it. But again, I don't think that one anecdote disproves all of the things that we're talking about.
Sure.
And again, attenuation can go some way to explain some aspect of like things like why the sky is blue or why sunsets are multicolored, but it doesn't explain why the sun disappears completely at night. Hold on, Austin. We have a guest appearance here. Alex Jones has made his appearance at the Flat Earth Debate.
Listen, I'm only going to ask you a real quick question. Are the sun and other planets flat as well? Because I've been a big astronomer since I was a kid with my dad. When we had professional telescopes when I was a kid. Now anybody can get them that have the computerized controls. I've sat there overnight drinking a 12-pack of beer in college with a 35mm camera hooked to a 12-inch refractor telescope and taken photos of Saturn and Jupiter and watched it as it's turning, watched the globes turning. I put green lenses on, the telescope and could watch the sun and over, an hour see it turn and see, see coronal mass ejections moving in the time lapse. Boom, it's round, done.
Debate over, Austin. I'm sorry to tell you, you have now lost the debate, and the Earth is round. What's your response to what Alex just brought up there?
Yeah, the sun could be round, and it doesn't mean that the Earth is, right? So it's and also, by the way, the Earth can be round and flat. Of course, it could be a plane shape, it could be a plane circle, but
that didn't age well for him, Jen.
Delicious. Delicious.
He said we can talk about things and not be ostracized, and look at him now.
Yeah. Also, within that, there was a bit where he said that refraction was an unfalsifiable claim, and then immediately said they'd falsified it. So I don't know.
He got
how that
caught
worked.
there. Great clip, Jim. Great.
Yeah, but it's good to see that even InfoWars aren't going to buy into this shit, are they? You know. I mean,
Yeah, this guy he can't even convince a Sandy Hook hoaxer.
right, exactly. It says a lot, doesn't it?
Just wait, Jim. They're going to be selling Flat Earth Force. Flat Earth Force. Get it now.
Right then, piss-drinking allegedly Dave Murphy was full of bright ideas last year. Here is one of them.
Hello everyone, I'm Dave. Now I've been gagged and censored again and only just been let out of PooTube jail. Now those of you really quick off the mark would have noticed that I posted a video a couple of weeks ago called Dave for Leader. That video lasted, I think it was 13 minutes before it was taken down. So the video was asking the people of the British Isles not to vote, but instead vote me as leader, or no, appoint me as leader of the country. Now this isn't a parliamentary position or some kind of hierarchical status. Think of the leader as an organiser. I don't want to be king or prime minister or even any kind of boss. Just a man hopefully you trust to organise the country. And again, to be clear, I won't have any power to tell any man or woman what to do. Because even though we've forgotten it, every one of us is sovereign and just one step below the creator. But I would have ultimate power over organisations, corporations, institutions and fictional entities. And the power that I'll wield will be to organise the use of our power.
For example, if I abolish council tax, I'll explain why and how it will help all of us and ask the people not to pay it. Of course, if you still want to continue paying it, then you're free to do so. But the power of everyone in the country ceasing payments all at the same time effectively abolishes it because the people say no. So say we all. But of course I'm going to hear, but what about paying for the police or the fire service? Well, apart from the fact that the council tax doesn't go to pay that, I was a volunteer member of the Waldwick Fire Department. It was a completely volunteer fire service. We were trained to do the job just like regular firefighters, and we gave our time voluntarily to save the people of Waldwick, New Jersey and their property for free. Don't you think we can do that over here? I hope you can see that just by changing the way we view our lives, we can cut out an unnecessary parasitic layer of our society, dispense with their oppressive systems, corporations and government departments, and craft a society that suits us. Maybe in the next video I'll talk about how I propose to do that. I totally believe that this country is the key. It's the centre of the spider's web, and if we get it right here, then the world will follow us. I'm Dave, and I'm here to help. Thanks for listening.
What a fucking stupid idea. I mean, what can you say?
He wants to organize your corporations. I wouldn't let him organize myself.
Just ridiculous. I mean, council tax pays for all sorts of things. It pays for schools. You know, it pays for all sorts of things for disabled people. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You wonder,
He wants to get rid of education.
You wonder if he actually thinks these things through. I mean, is it a stunt? You know, because he can't actually have thought that everyone was just going to go, no, I'm not going to vote. I want Dave in charge. I mean, I don't get where this stuff comes from, you know? All right, we'll move on. Everyone...
Jim, didn't he...
Go on.
Didn't Dave used to claim that he was a breatharian?
Yeah, he has claimed that, yeah, that he, you know, doesn't eat. But I think when you drill down, when he says he didn't eat anything, it just means he liquidized all his food for a couple of weeks, you know. So he drank stuff, but he didn't eat it. Great Angelo says, for Dodo and that numpty who can see Lima under the clouds, rocket scientist. Thank you very much for that super chat, Great Angelo. Very, very, very much appreciated. Right, let's have another flatty, shall we? Everyone wanted to talk to a flatty last year, including Matan Evan, who interviewed flatty doc producer Sean Hibbler with disastrous consequences.
Do you think that it would make sense to teach a small child about giants who built buildings, or do you think it would make sense to teach them about the history of the world?
I would make sense to teach them the truth. I feel the truth is...
But you just said you don't even know what it was. You just said that you believe that there was ancient technology in North America built by giants. That doesn't sound like the truth. That sounds like schizophrenia.
No, it's not schizophrenia. It's more along the lines of not trusting the modern history and going down and doing your own research.
Are you scared that next month the government is going to foreclose your house because you're not going to be able to?
I don't own a house.
Oh, so they already foreclosed it?
No, I don't own a house. I live in California, man. I don't own a house.
So they foreclosed it? This is a really good question.
Yep.
Do you believe in aliens, or do you think you, along with the other flat earthers, are among the least intelligent life forms in the universe?
Yeah, aliens. Of course I do.
So you believe that the flat earthers are the least intelligent life forms in the universe?
No, I said of course I do with aliens.
You said that you believe that there are hidden continents and pieces of land behind Antarctica?
Not behind, past Antarctica.
Past Antarctica.
Past Antarctica, and there's a lot of old maps that have more land.
How does something like that even come into your imagination?
Well, it's not an imagination, it's reality. Admiral Byrd went there in 1958, and when he got back...
So it wasn't your imagination, it was his imagination, and you just read it and believed it?
No, it's not about, again, it's not about a belief. It's about, you can see a timeline here.
Oh, by the way, actually, we've been waiting for this. We actually felt really bad for him, so we scheduled an intervention with a medical doctor. Welcome in Dr. Mike. He's going to evaluate you today and see if there's any severe problems with you.
Hey, I've never had a vaccine.
What's your name?
Sean.
What's your favorite color?
Depends. Blue.
Do you believe the earth is flat?
Something wrong with your brain.
Oh, all right.
Do you believe the earth is flat?
No, I know that it's not a globe.
You know it's not a globe?
Yep.
That one's really getting him riding away.
Oh, yeah, I know it's flat and stationary in terms of a level stationary plane.
Tell the doctor, you believe that there's land behind Antarctica? That one's going to really trigger him.
Land past Antarctica.
You hear that one, Doc?
Doc, go read the Iron Republic, man.
You need help.
All right. Well, good luck getting to Mars, Doc.
Okay, he left me an evaluation.
God bless you, Doc. Say no to the jab, man. No jabs.
He left me an evaluation. Do you want me to read it for you?
The squiggly lines, yeah.
Unfortunately, the doctor has determined there is something wrong with your brain and you will need to be put down. What do you think? Okay. He determines that you only have a couple of days left. So we're gonna do a little game show, a little segment with you here. Okay. It's called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, okay? Are you smarter than a fifth grader? I'm gonna ask you some questions and you're gonna have to answer them. Okay?
Let's hear.
8 times 8.
Huh?
8 times 8.
No, I went to public school, man. You're gonna have to give me a minute on 8 times 8.
You don't know the answer to 8 times 8? You don't know multiplication table?
No, I'm not a math guy whatsoever, dude.
You don't know 8 times 8?
No. Not off the top of my... I'm thinking like that now.
8 plus 8?
Yeah, 16, dude. Obviously. I'm not a math... I got D's and C's at
you
math.
You know that it's probably concerning that you don't know 8 times 8.
I'm not good at math? That's concerning?
That's not being good at math. That's something that this is a 5th grade. This is what I mean. Okay. He got the answer for you.
Well, I wasn't going to answer after the fact, bro.
But you know how simple 8 times...
I thought it was like, I got 1 second. I don't... Nah. Math is not my strong suit in terms of like multiplication and all that stuff. No, man.
Okay, 7 times 7.
42?
Oh, my God.
Wow. No. Unbelievable, isn't it? It really is unbelievable.
He has the brain of a 9-year-old, Jem.
Right.
Oh my
He did
gosh.
better. He did better than Yango would have done.
I told you I didn't say 42.
We should try that out on a few people, shouldn't we? See how many can answer it.
And yet they claim to know all the mathematical equations for the
Right. I feel
like
sorry,
Debbie?
though, for someone like that. That must feel horrible to be asked that question. And just be... I mean, he didn't even know how to work it out. You know,
I gave the right answer.
I mean, I
He
get
asked
that
the
not
wrong
everyone can parrot it out, but you should be able to at least calculate it, right? I don't know.
Well, he was right. The answer is 42. The question was wrong.
I was
Pathetic.
I was taught to, or made actually, forced to learn them the multiplication tables parrot fashion, and I have to say it's one of the most useful things I've ever learnt. Just about
There you go.
just about to trip out the answer to a multiplication, a simple multiplication, without having
Times
to
8, Jem.
hello mate, without having to think about it, just to know it like you know the words of a song without having to think at all. It's so useful, especially when I work behind a bar. Hello Pazza, welcome.
Hello.
Well,
Hello,
let's
Jem.
see if that's true, Jem. What's 8 times 8?
It's 64, Jake. You
won't
got
catch
me
him out
there.
like
Okay, what's next? Disastrous consequences of a different kind now. Remember this?
Keep watching this area here. Yeah, watch the fire and the molten metal spewing off as the bridge collapses. Watch. Goes along. Watch. Look. See that? Look. Little explosions. Okay? Why is a bridge that's been hit by a ship over there having explosions over here? Keep watching. Let's keep watching it. Look. Bang. Explosion, explosion. Both at the top and the bottom. Explosion, explosion again. More smoke coming out of it. Look. On fire as it's going down. There we go. Right there on fire. Ready? Look. Here's the smoke in the air here. Keep watching. Look. Watch it again. Watch. Watch here. Look, fire, 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 fire. See? Steam as it hits the water. Funny, look, more fire, loads of fire. They demolished the bridge, people. Wake the fuck up. Distraction story again.
Well, what we have here, the captain of the container ship that rammed a bridge in Baltimore blocking the port is a citizen of where? Ukraine. Let's take a look at him. Oh, okay, there he is. So, this is a Ukrainian. What is going on? Do we need any more evidence that this was a false flag by the deep staties?
Yeah, all you need is he was a Ukrainian. That's it.
I do need more evidence, Jem. Can you ask him for the evidence?
And the first guy go, fire, 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 fire. There wasn't. There was a little flash where the cables were snapped.
Dust and muck. Electric shorts, dust and muck.
Right.
God, that seems like years ago.
I know.
Leave it to them to ignore the obvious. A ship running into the bridge. It's like, nope, they blew it up. They just had the ship there to distract us.
That's why I put some of these things in, Pazza, because I was, some of them I thought, oh wow, that was last year.
That's crazy.
You know how annoying it can be when you get part of a song stuck in your head. Well, this one has been banging around my mind for the last week, so it's time for you guys to suffer too. I think. Enjoy.
The globe is alive. They want us blind. Open your eyes and break the chains of lies. The globe is alive. They limit our minds. Illuminate the lies and break the ties.
Okay, that's all you've got.
Wow. Okay, Pete was right. Freddie Mercury isn't dead.
That's the best thing I've seen since the Island Boys.
I didn't know VD does music videos.
We should do our own version. The globe is alive.
Yeah.
Can you
I
ban
think-
him for singing on mic?
He's called Vince something, that guy, isn't he? Vince, they call him. I can't remember.
Yeah, Vince VD.
I think that's the most convincing argument for the globe, Jem. I think you need to make all flat earthers watch that.
Yeah.
Is Vince spelled with a W?
Yes. Okay, a little more music now, remembering an international incident from last spring.
Why you're touching her? Stop touching her! Don't touch her, please. Do not touch her. You are not the same age. You are not the same age. Please, do not touch her. Please, don't touch her. Don't touch her. You are not the same age. Please do not touch her. Stop touching her. Sorry about that. Stop touching her. Please, please, don't touch her. You are not the same age. Please do not touch her. You are not the same age. Stop touching her. Please don't touch her. Please don't. Yeah, don't touch her. Do not touch her. You are not the same age. Please. Stop touching her. You are not the same age. Please, do not touch her. Please, do not touch her. Stop touching her. Please do not touch her. Stop touching her. Do not touch her.
I don't want to touch her at all.
That's good. Stay away. Don't touch her.
Remember that one when that all went off?
Oh.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
If only that had been the Jim Will Fix It theme tune all those years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, it's that inference, isn't it? It's that immediate, inappropriate age. You know the inferences there, don't you? Basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's the usual trick, isn't it? If all else fails, call them a pedo.
Yeah.
You see, I tell you where you see it a lot, and it's really obvious. There's a couple of these auditor guys that go out with drones, and one of them in particular likes to do like National Trust properties and things, and they always send rangers out in big jeeps and stuff to try and stop him. And the first thing they'll do is say, you can't do that here, and then he'll go, yes I can, and he'll show him his drone app and all that. And then the next thing they do, always, without fail, they go, but there's children there. They'll always say that every time. Yeah.
There's some aspect of that that immediately makes you a sexual deviant because you're not agreeing with us right now.
Right. It was Brendan Kavanagh, of course, was the pianist who upset the Chinese people there. Anyway. Shane St. Pierre is a flat earth thief who stole Walter Bislin's model and then tried to take credit for it, terming under the guise that he would somehow take all the flack for it. Take a look.
If you get tired of Globers bitching about a model, or sunrise angles, or star trails, or sunlight, or eclipses, anyone can always reference this model. The reason it is called Shane's model is strictly so you can use it, and I can take all the criticism, insults, ridicule, jokes, attacks, etc. The general idea is that the community gets the considerable benefit of presenting an accurate model and using it to explain several normal phenomena at once. Then only I get the drawbacks of all that will surely come from it, and everyone else will benefit. I planned it this way because I largely don't care about any of the Globers. They could pile on the hate over here so we can press forward. Fuck me for saying the word model and for bendy light or for whatever. If that's the case, no hard feelings. One last thing. The smaller dome in the model simply represents the limit of an observer's view, a spherical limit with a radius of 359.3. The math that supports that is here. The descriptions are entirely reworked, mostly spelling error-free and entirely plausible. So feel free to bring it up in debates, forums, streams, podcasts, or whatever you like. The model adequately emulates and explains all of these observations. Sunrise, sunset, moonrise, moonset, moon phases, moon's apparent rotation, sun's position on equinox, seasons, some aspects of solar and lunar eclipses, star trails, 24 hours day-night at the North Pole and Antarctica, celestial poles, why people south of the equator can see the same stars rotate clockwise around a singed celestial pole at the same time at different continents' Southern Cross observations. Cheers everyone. The full description is below. This model does not assume a physical sun nor moon, which will show collective convergence for every observer on Earth. This matches only their apparent positions as observed across the plane. The Bislin model acknowledges this and moves all celestial bodies to a nearly infinite distance. This does nothing more than create a triangle large enough that you can mathematically abstract your way into the inverse of everything you experience. The truth is there is a limit to one's visual space, and this limit is necessarily geometrically spherical. because one never observes objects in anything, but their apparent location within one's personal celestial sphere, there is no need to explain a tiny ball of heat mysteriously powering itself at 3D 100 miles above the plane. This is not reality.
Shane's model there. Zane Hale, who known on YouTube as Zane Hale, but also known as Buffs, says, here's to another year of a truly unique glass menagerie of crazies brought to you by the Sultan of Scams, the King of Chemos, the Colossus of Codswallop, Gem Panda. 2025, let's fucking go. Thank you very much for that lovely super chat. Very, very much appreciated. Does anyone have any thoughts on Shane's model?
Well, I love the way. Obviously, he'd done a text to speech for that, but I love the way that there's some spelling mistakes. In the next page, it said it mentions there being one Singe celestial pole.
Right.
Yep, mostly spelling free.
I just think it was, what he was trying to do was basically nick that model, present it as his own, and then say, look, I'm going to take all the flack for you, all the criticism. Well, how would that work? If you go and present that model in a Discord somewhere and he's not there, how is he going to be taking the flack for it? He isn't. It's just a way of him stealing it and pretending he's doing everyone a favour.
Well, he hosted all the software, the algorithms that generate all the rendering software, and in Bizlin stuff it said this is public domain, use it. Just making acknowledgement to me, and don't take any of my details out. And he just literally searched for Walter Bizlin and put his own name in.
Right.
He can't even work with the integrity of being given something free and just saying, yeah, this is actually origin. It starts here. He was trying to make out his model at one point.
Right. But of course, everyone knew it, and other flat earthers had already used it anyway, so it wasn't like it was a secret. I mean, Karen B had used it. She'd had a guest on her show who had used it. I mean, it was, it had been thrown around for months anyway.
I mean, this is as far as this little dome is as far as you can see. Don't fucking forget where anything is outside that. It doesn't matter, because as long as this bit looks right, the rest doesn't matter. And don't consider 2 people at once or 3 people or I don't know, several billion dotted around. Just think about yourself.
Right.
Which is what you got to do. So just think, I can't feel anything. I can't see anything. I'm not measuring anything. I've got no education. That'll do.
It seems to me it's an abandonment of the idea of an objective reality. You're essentially saying, well, we've all just got our own little thing going on, We're not all experiencing a shared reality. You've got your reality and I've got mine. And I think the other big problem with it is that I said this, I think, on a previous show, or I've at least said it in the Discord a couple of times, and it sort of came to pass today when fake Professor Waterball came in, and we were asking him about the final experiment, and he said he'd seen a couple of these models, and he showed this one. I think it was the Stephen Alonso version, which I think is the same, and said that he didn't understand it. And I've always thought that that's the problem with this thing, because the whole idea of flat Earth was it offered this sort of, simple explanation for everything. That, you didn't have to understand gravity or laws of motion or anything like that. It's just, it looks flat, so it is flat. And I don't feel like I'm spinning, so I know I'm not spinning, And now they've replaced that with these very complicated explanations, which people are just not going to be able to convey to others, And I think that it's going to be a big problem for them. I'm not sure how it will play out, but I do think it will be a problem.
Flashburn's giving you a gem of a super chat, Gem.
He has. He says, don't touch that model. You are not the same age. Thank you very much for that, Flashburn. Very, very much appreciated. Right, what's next? In Canada, Queen Romana stayed pretty quiet last year after holing up in her compound and refusing any visitors, sometimes violently. That went on for ages. Anyway,
Who was winning that fight?
well, I don't think I
was
can't remember that guy's name. Is it Jimmy? Or, I can't remember his name, but anyway, he didn't seem to be doing ever
Why
so
is
well.
nobody helping?
Was that
Like there were
Minnesota?
5
I
people
know
with cameras.
they all just stood there filming it, didn't they?
What the fuck
Yeah,
is wrong with
definitely
this
wanted
world?
to help.
because there was no maple syrup
It's-
in that picture. So
And what
Fraud.
was that woman wearing? That skirt or dress thing with all those like yellow, blue, and white stripes or whatever on it. Did anyone notice that?
She looked like a crosswalk lady,
It was fucking
escorting kids across the
it was like
crosswalk.
the weirdest piece of clothing I've ever seen.
I shouldn't imagine they got an eclectic wardrobe in there, Jim. If I'm honest.
Okay,
Was this for show? Sorry.
go ahead.
I'm just asking, like, the only explanation that seems logical is that this was for show, so they could record it. That it wasn't real.
I don't know. He's a kind of a reporter, and he's got they report on Facebook basically. It's called Community TV, and they've got YouTube channel as well, I think. And he'd sort of gone in there. He'd interfered with them a few times. So I think at one point he actually managed to break into the school through the basement and live streamed it, and they found out, and that's when they put their big fence up. So he had been a bit of a problem to them. But anyway, it was all stuff and nonsense, and they got separated. Veteran conspirator David Icke exorcised some evil spirits in 2024, and
we live again in a world of love instead of a world run by the demons in this place and so many other places all over the world. You have no power, only that which we give you in the form of fear. I think you are a bunch of prats, and what you're doing, holding souls in this realm, is a bloody disgrace. You bloody idiots! Frightened of ya? Are you bloody kidding? So, we have come to kick your ass out of this place and out of this world. Do you hear me?
do you hear him? I hope you do.
Demons.
That ceiling
like
must
a-
have looked very beautiful.
He seems like every other angry middle-aged ex-serviceman neighbour trying to get gypsies off the local recreation ground.
Yeah.
My question is, why were they in a cave doing this
I have no idea.
exorcism?
actually. I can't remember, to be honest, PD, what it was all about.
Well, the lighting.
I thought you would be in a
was
church to
really-
exorcise a demon.
The thing was called Hellfire Caves, wasn't it? I saw written at the top of the screen there. But
Yeah, wonder where that is. Hellfire Caves.
right.
I bet it's all made of papier-mâché and uneaten.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he was just yelling at the rest of the people in the room. He really wasn't talking to anybody else.
Yeah. Okay, what's next? I'm on the right one. Good. 2024 turned out to be a devastating year for Flat Earth. Here's how the devastation began.
I'm Will Duffy, and I pastor a small church in Colorado. The day was August 2nd, 2021. I was scrolling through Facebook, and a friend of mine, her name is Wendy, she posted something about Flat Earth. And at first, I thought she must be joking, but there was no punchline. So I read the comments, and it seemed genuine. And my first reaction was, well, this will be easy to prove her wrong. I'll just show her some proof that we live on a globe. She'll quickly change her mind, and we can go on our merry way. But that is not what happened at all. She was ready for my arguments. She had good, solid answers for the proofs I was giving her. To be brutally honest, she knew the globe arguments better than I did. I eventually got tired of hearing the same arguments over and over and over again from both sides. And that is when I had my light bulb moment. It was David Weiss. He is best known as Flat Earth Dave. And here's what he said.
One of the arguments that people give is on a flat Earth, you can't have a 24-hour sun, a midnight sun in Antarctica. And I totally agree. But there is no midnight sun in Antarctica.
That's it. Antarctica and the 24-hour sun. But most importantly, Dave Weiss made me realize the single most important thing when it comes to the final experiment is that both sides agree. Both sides agree that if there is a 24-hour sun, we live on a globe with Antarctica as an island at the bottom of it. And both sides agree that if there's not a 24-hour sun, we live on a flat plane with Antarctica encircling the rest of the continents. This was the most important foundation for the final experiment. Agreement from both sides on what the results of the experiment would prove. And what I appreciate about Flat Earth Dave is that he, possibly more than anyone else, is willing to put his money where his mouth is. He has a public Bitcoin challenge where he will give you 3 Bitcoin if you can show him one proof we live on a globe. So this is how the final experiment came to be.
Yes, that's how it came to be.
Has Dave
Oh,
paid
he
up?
was so naive.
Yeah,
back
Dave
then.
hasn't paid up.
So basically, this is all Dave's fault.
Yep, all down to Weiss.
They should probably excommunicate Weiss.
Some of them are doing.
Where are the guns?
Okay,
interesting.
Go on.
No,
So it's
I think Dave
interesting
Weiss
that-
has been excommunicated.
Go on.
Partially, anyways.
Yeah, it's interesting that at that point, Will Duffy thought there was only two pot. It was a dichotomy, you know, and now of course it isn't. Yeah, there is a 24-hour sun. There is that you can go to Antarctica, but it must be bendy light or superfluid or something. So it never was one or the other, was it?
Right. Well, I mean, when you hear Weiss say that, it kind of is at that point, isn't it? But of course,
Yeah.
you know, the goalposts
you know,
soon shifted, didn't they?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but I heard. Well, sorry, go ahead.
Well, sorry, they're never really knocked in the ground in the first place, are they? They're moving around on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're on casters.
You can't win under determinism. Like, they can always come up with a new explanation.
Plus, Will Duffy has parking tickets. I heard, so there's that.
What's that? Sorry, Rob.
Will Duffy has parking tickets. I heard.
Has what? Parking tickets? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And he wears lots of brown.
Flatty doco producer Sean Hibbler turned his hand to mudfloods last year with a documentary called Old World Order, released via the Stu Peters network. Old World Order was such a part of crap, Stu Peters had to pretend it was being censored in a feeble attempt to make it seem interesting.
But look at how the tide has shifted. Look at how the Overton window has moved so quickly, especially since October 7th. But even before that, as people start learning, and then people like me with a platform of this size starts openly questioning this stuff, we have just been attacked. People like Right Wing Watch, Media Matters, The Rolling Stone, The New York Times, USA Today, the British Broadcasting Company, every single day, attacks, hit pieces. He's crazy. He's anti-Semitic. He's racist. He's bigoted. He's a misogynist. And now the most censored film of 2024, which we told you was going to be the most censored film of 2024, is being censored. Just days after the LGBT pedophile worshipers at Caesars canceled our reservations in a futile effort to shut down the Extreme Accountability event, which will not be shut down. It will only be bigger and stronger and more extreme. But now the Stu Peters Network's newest film, Old World Order, has come under attack. This film is already being censored in more ways than one. Now, we're releasing it exclusively at StuPeters.com because video sharing platforms, even those that claim to be for free speech, can't guarantee that they won't take it down, that they won't remove it. They can't draw a line in the sand and say, we won't give in to censorship when Old World Order violates everything that we ever thought that we knew about our nation's history. And over the weekend, the attempted censorship of this film reached new heights as our hosting website came under attack, stopping Old World Order from finishing its rendering, from going live, and forcing us to delay its release. The film is done. And it's brilliant. So obviously, we're preparing to blast this thing right through the censors. This film will be released likely this week. And nobody's going to stop it. Nobody's going to stop us. And if anything, the people who attacked our website have only emboldened the Stu Peters Network and Hibbler Productions and everyone else involved with making this film and everyone who's been anticipating its release. They have now made a critical error, a big mistake. They've pushed us to go even harder and to continue digging for the truths that they don't want us to know. But these attacks on the truth, these attempts to censor the Stu Peters Network and anyone else who dares to speak up, who dares to ask questions, who dares to notice, they're happening every single day on an industrial scale in both the private sector and the public sector. And our government is in on it. Our government is carrying it out at all levels. And just days ago, it was Brevard County, Florida's turn to be the censorship attack dogs and to perpetuate what looks like a massive government cover-up by violating Americans' right to free speech and the right to interface with their own elected officials.
Yeah, Stu Peters having a rant there about that crap Old World Order Mudflood movie, which in no way nobody would have censored that bullshit.
He's
Angelo's
crazy.
super chat raises a good question.
Oh, yes. Great Angelo says, is it just me, or did you say Stupiders Network?
Stupiders.
Yeah,
Does work,
Stupiders.
At the beginning,
Some
he
of
was
the-
saying that CNN and the British Broadcasting Company and loads of other places are saying, "Oh, a racist, bigoted, misogynistic, fascist," and he said it's an attack. No, Stuart, that's a review.
yeah.
Some of the pictures of the documentary were about Berlin, and it was the airship that blew up, right? The Hitler's airship.
Yeah,
right?
Hindenburg.
So I
yeah.
presume it's something Nazi, Jewish
Oh
conspiracy
no, they really,
bullshit.
the Mudflooders really like airships, and they have all these like myths about airships that they used to carry thousands of people, and they had discos on board, and they have all this shit. Of course, the Hindenburg carried 93 people, I think it was. I mean, including all the crew.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know.
Think about it. It's not what you call cost-effective on modern standards, is it?
Right. David Weiss goes on about it, So they had these they had big stairways, He's thinking of Titanic, you see. And they've got this whole myth up about how airships were like a suppressed technology,
Yeah, but that like as someone as you just pointed out, that pastiche of photos, it's all big doors, giants, isn't it? And
Right, yeah.
concrete over marble and exhibition centres built in 3 seconds, and sort of thing.
I don't know whether
it's so wearisome.
Yeah, I don't know whether anyone saw it. It came up in the week, but Professor Dave Explains had this. He went on this podcast, and there was this guy on there who's called Jamal. I think he's some sort of rapper, and he's one of the experts, the subject matter experts that appears in that documentary. You just saw a little flash of him, but if you watch that, it's painful to watch this Professor Dave thing. But he is as dumb as an ox. Just an idiot. He's got nothing, and in the end, he just starts demanding that they kick Professor Dave off because he just, he's got no answers, and he just looks silly.
I'd at least, I mean, if they could get one architectural historian on, that'd be good. You know, you think, okay,
Right.
maybe that person is a bit of an expert, but just a DJ.
Right, exactly. Just sat there in his studio with all his stuff behind him trying to look cool while he just trotted out the usual, flat earth conspiratard lines about this stuff, just yeah, God, so dumb.
Why is he an expert? Is it because he's just trawled through loads of search engine suggestions and looked at 10 PDFs? Why did they suddenly become an expert all of a sudden?
Right, because they were all like that. All the people on there were just freaks off the internet. You know what I mean? None of them were anything.
The thing is, though, that's his profession. If I looked at 10 YouTube videos on DJing and downloaded 3 PDFs, music for dummies, and told him I was an expert DJ, he'd rightly tell me to fuck off, wouldn't he?
Right. It's funny you should say that because on the podcast, someone made that exact point to him. And he went, no,
right.
that's different. That's different. But didn't say why it was different, just kept insisting it was different.
Oh, yeah. Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? It's different. It's different, isn't it, Jim? There's no arguing with that.
Okay, let's take a look at Stu Peters' massive government cover-up by the government attack dogs, brought to you by Flatties, Witsit Gets It, and Justin Harvey.
It's come to our attention that these astronauts may be engaging in deceptive practices. For example, multiple instances have been documented where objects are consistently seen dropping in free fall on the ISS, which is of course allegedly in zero-G environment. Forensics video analysis has been conducted and subsequently proven that the physics observed in these videos are consistent with that observed in zero-G plane flights and gravity environments on Earth. It is thus scientifically impossible they were actually filmed in space. Further, such analysis has revealed the use of augmented reality, overlays, harnesses, video manipulation, as well as consistent communication delays. Inconsistent. These anomalies raise legitimate and important questions about the authenticity of the space activities portrayed by NASA. NASA must address the allegations openly, directly, and with specificity, providing concrete evidence to dispel these concerns or launch transparent disclosure. They have refused to do this for years, rather worked with big tech to hide behind a wall of suppression and censorship. If there is nothing to hide, why are they hiding? You can also go to Audit NASA to
Thank you very much. Your time's up.
To look into the investigation.
Justin Harvey.
I think we all remember the Challenger explosion that took place in 1986 that tragically took the lives of all 7 astronauts on board. It launched not too far from where we're standing here today. Well, the interesting thing is, a couple decades later, this thing called the internet came about, and someone allegedly found almost all of those astronauts alive and well, many using the same exact names. As you can see here, we have Challenger astronaut Judith Resnick and also Judith Resnick, Yale law professor. Michael J. Smith, the pilot of the Challenger astronaut, and also professor at University of Wisconsin, now retired Michael J. Smith. Commander Dick Scobie, who is now president of Cows and Trees. Now, if you'll notice, they all have the exact same faces 30 some odd years later, the same exact name, and they are the same age. Now, we all have a doppelganger out there, right? No big deal. But to have the same face, the same age, and the same exact name is extremely rare. So rare, I could only find one case in the last 120 years. And we're supposed to believe that 3 people from one spaceflight have exact lookalikes that have the same age and same exact names. This, ladies and gentlemen, is beyond statistically impossible. Ms. Resnick was questioned at Yale by a journalist, and she panicked and ran from the camera. Why? Mr. Michael J. Smith was also questioned, and he said, yeah, we look alike, but that's not me. You can see both of these exchanges in a film called Level with Me, and you can be the judge. Mr.
Sir,
Scobie
I'm going to have
not only has...
I'm going to have to stop.
Sir, this is
you.
a public comment.
I know what it is, sir. I'm very familiar with the public comment.
Okay.
And part of the public comment is that you're only allowed to address things that we have jurisdiction over. We have no
I have a direct request at the end of this that is in your purview, sir, please. I do. Can we hold the time, please? I have a direct request that...
listen to me.
Okay.
Very carefully. Mr. Richardson, would you give an opinion in regards to this, please?
Yes, public comment is reserved for issues or topics that are under the jurisdiction or control of the county commission or that are relevant to the business of the county commission. So if your request at the end is going to explain why that falls into any of this, make that request now before you continue.
Absolutely. So as I was saying, I'll just end it with what I was ending with. But the ask is that Ms. Pritchett, who knows very well about questioning science, whether it be COVID or fluoride, I'm just asking you all to question the science here. Your Goodson and Pritchett, your district covers the Kennedy Space Center. This launched from the Kennedy Space Center. You have the ability to help me in sounding the alarm and asking the federal government for help. If this is contained in your area, I should be able to at least address something that happened here. Don't you agree?
That's not within the jurisdiction or authority of the county commission.
Thank you very much.
Will you let me finish for at least 10
No,
seconds?
sir, you're finished. Thank you.
Thank you for taking away my freedom of speech today in here.
I did not take away your freedom of speech. There's a.
Yes, you did.
I don't want to hear it from you people down here.
Just because this is an uncomfortable
Stop.
topic.
Officers, please remove this man from the room.
You just violated the First Amendment.
I didn't violate the First Amendment.
No,
he
didn't.
violated the rules.
This is a limited public
There's-
forum, and the meeting is for the purpose of the business of the county commission. It's not for this purpose.
Now,
Thank
if you want to go too, take him out too. Officer, take him out also.
Everyone just calm down. They can leave willingly.
Wow.
No, we're leaving willingly. You don't have to remove us.
You just made a decision about NASA. You're making your decisions based. You violated the First Amendment already.
Thank you very much for your opinion.
Yeah, maybe check reading it out again.
These astronauts are alive, by the way. Look it up. You can't have 3 doppelgangers. You can't. Same face, same name, same age. It's impossible. Look it up. Statistically impossible.
On Point Behavioral Center's right down the street. That's where I suggest you go.
Just because you think this is a mental problem, I should still be able to talk. It's your opinion, sir.
Yeah, well, that went well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, flat earthers get owned by county commissioners.
This is
How low? How low can you go?
Schizophrenia is really a powerful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're so full of themselves.
This has been said 1,000 times though. NASA said to them, "Look, U7, look, we're gonna send you up, and we're gonna blow up the spaceship, and we're gonna tell your families and all your loved ones and everything you've ever worked for in your entire life, all your friends and family, you're not gonna see them again because they're gonna think you're dead. They're gonna grieve. They're gonna go to funerals. They're gonna spend years and years in the trauma of knowing that you perished and possibly suffered and burnt to death and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. What we're gonna do is we're gonna relocate you. Okay. You got no choice in the matter. Yeah. We're gonna send you somewhere else." And to make it extra covert, we're going to give you exactly the same fucking names.
Yeah, and the same hairstyle.
Yeah, and none of you are going to say anything about it. You're just going to get on with an alternative lifestyle.
Right.
You're suddenly going to be have a degree in a completely different subject. Don't ask us how. Just
Right.
Get on with it.
You're going to do a job that
and
you've never trained for. You're going to just be inserted into family and friends that don't know you. Nobody's going to notice or say anything. I mean, it's just so absurd.
Each of you will have a community of at least 500 people who've known you are going to run the pantomime of knowing you since you were a child. You're going to have a wife. You're going to start shagging her straight away. Get you through cooking. You've got no choice in the matter.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think they think it through to this level? I don't think they do. I just think they think, oh, there's someone that looks like someone. It must be a hoax. And I don't think they think any further than that.
And when they interviewed the woman, when they interviewed the woman, she ran away. Well, yes, because she thought you were fucking mentalist.
Right, yeah, that is what happened. I mean, she was scared because they doorstepped, this guy just doorstepped her while she was at work, moving from one part of the university to another. And he just sort of stalked her. You know, he didn't arrange an interview or anything, which he could have done. He could have emailed her and said, "Can I come and interview you?" But he didn't do that because, of course, just like this stunt, he wanted to get something on video that looked cool. He thought that's what it's all about. That's what this is all about. They're not expecting these people to do anything. They just want to get themselves on video. And they know that these people are going to say, "This isn't our business. You need to stop." It's all a big setup, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to make views, they get clicks.
Yeah.
Sure. It's like the guys who turn up in Rumbelows, isn't it? You know, start as a TV salesman. They go, yeah, the NASA, and he goes, no, mate, we're just selling TVs. Oh, you're cutting my free speech off.
Right, yeah.
No, mate, no. This we just sell TVs. That's all we do, mate. I'm not interested in NASA.
Right.
You know, I'm not sure how old. One day he's gonna look at this, like live with what he did. This is
Oh, you're
all the
dropping out, Rob.
pathetic- He's gonna have to live with all the pathetic things he ever did. He just really looks bad. This is a bad look. on him.
Yeah, I know. His kids are going to see all this stuff, aren't they?
It's not going to go away, is it? It's a
No.
digital tattoo for his future lineage.
Yeah, it'll be on the internet somewhere forever.
Yeah.
Probably on my channel.
He looks stupid. He looks so stupid. That was so pathetic.
You know, there's a quick way to resolve the doppelganger part. Just look at their DNA compared to their own families. And if they're still related to their own families, they're not related to the dead people's families.
Well, some of them are actually genuinely twins, aren't they? Because they did these twin studies. So I think a couple of them are actual twins, aren't
There was-
they? Or at
there
least one is, isn't
They
it?
weren't twins; they were brothers.
Yeah, they were brothers. Yeah.
Right.
So them looking like, wow, who would have thought?
Yeah.
And having similar speaking patterns.
Right. Okay, as
Never
I
heard two
said,
guys from Boston. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
as I said earlier, everyone wanted to talk to a Flatty in 2024, with Flatty appearances occurring on a number of big-name podcasts. Here are a few you may remember. Longer clip, this one.
Guys, please. I mean, just
So the buildings
are
that
you saying the U.S. Capitol's 1,000 years old? Tell me, what buildings are fake and who built them?
We don't know. I'm not making any claims. We can show you, though. They said this building was built in 1850, and there's a picture of it in 1790 with 100-year growth on it.
So that somebody made in Photoshop?
Oh, everything's Photoshop now, right?
No, it's on record. They built it in a swamp there. They built the U.S. Capitol. It's on record.
Besides Old World Order, there's a channel called My Lunch
Oh
Break.
my God, a
Watch
channel.
those
How
videos.
old is the Empire State Building?
I have no idea.
Oh, you're just saying it's all built by somebody else, but it's not.
There's pictures and videos of airships.
Okay, are you saying the Taj Mahal? Tell me right now, which buildings were built before?
I don't know. I make no claims other than the story that they tell us doesn't line up. There are videos of giant airships connecting to the Empire State Building, to the Eiffel Tower, to other towers. All
There are
around the
videos
world.
of Donald Trump eating shit. They're fake.
Okay, so they're fake?
Dude, we built North America. They built in the Renaissance, and before that, the big cathedrals that are gorgeous. The fact we're not caring as craftsmen and not and with air conditioning, they made buildings big and square to cool them.
Here's what I say. Go watch these videos, watch these movies, and make up your own mind. Don't just listen to us because we're just talking about stuff here. I don't have all the facts. I don't make any claims. Watch these videos and figure it out yourself.
This is a serious mind virus. I'm going to ask you a question. How do they fire cruise missiles from a ship and 1,000 miles away, shoot it down somebody's chimney?
Through the ground positioning system, GPS.
It's a ground positioning.
Yeah, because the Earth is spinning and wobbling. You got air. So the Earth is spinning and making all those motions that Eddie was describing before. And somehow a satellite is mirroring all of those in space. How does it do that?
Mathematics.
Mathematics. You know, they had the
mathematics.
They had the.
I actually think that it's electromagnetic retardation. It's actually been shown that.
But
that
you can't
was-
say that. You don't believe that galaxies are millions of light years away to begin with.
That doesn't matter at all.
It does.
No, it literally doesn't matter at all.
It does.
But why?
Because you're talking about a light attenuating over great distance. Like, you don't even believe in those distances. Like, how do you even
I don't
know?
believe in the medium either.
You don't believe in ether?
No. Well, okay. So now we're introducing a medium and maybe even another medium. And let's
You said you didn't
let's
believe
also introduce some plasma because it's been proven in a lab, unlike your belief of redshift, that photons, quote unquote, which I won't get into that. They redshift through plasma.
So you
They
don't-
redshift through
you don't think
plasma
you can
proportionate
replicate
to the medium.
redshift? You don't think that you can get Doppler shift on a spacecraft traveling out from the Earth?
Yeah, of course, with frequency, and then you get into like sound and wave, sound and light, and what's the difference between
Well,
the two?
you said you couldn't recreate it. Like, we can test redshift.
No. What I said was your theory has been proven wrong, and the reason it's been proven wrong is because the observations don't actually match the theory. For example, quasars, supernova, and I could go on. I wonder if we could all agree on this, that flat Earth is actually the default position because it's always flipped around. And I'll make it very clear, actually, I don't claim definitive projections. If we've been misled about the nature of the Earth, which I think the evidence is overwhelming that we have been, it would be very naive to think that we have a perfect depiction of the very thing that we were misled about. Of course we don't. Now, in the north, 90% of the world population here, we have a better grasp of it, but it's just a projection thing. And bringing up the satellite thing, that's kind of like a misnomer that like satellites can't exist on a flat Earth. Actually, satellites, for one, disprove heliocentrism, because they actually have to account for inertial forces. They account for centrifugal forces, which are considered fictitious and pseudo forces in your paradigm. They can't exist. So if there are actually satellites being put up there, they're accounting for the angular momentum of a rotating universe around a stationary Earth with inertial forces, centrifugal, Coriolis, and Euler forces. Those can exist in your paradigm. They don't exist in Newtonian mechanics. Those are forces external to Newtonian mechanics, and they don't exist in Einstein. So just point that out.
It's trying to...
Satellites are actually, I love them. This idea that I'm scared of satellites. Well, I see Starlinks. I watch mini launches. I don't have a problem with it. I have a Starlink. You know, I haven't set up the internet yet, but I have one.
How do they stay up there?
Well, that's the equations. The physics and equations say they're using the spinning universe. That's what is factually in the equations. It says that it uses centrifugal force.
How would they stay above a flat?
They're on balloons. Type in satellites on balloons. I'm telling you, they're
not all on balloons.
They're not all on balloons, but there's satellites that were on balloons.
Yeah, it was called Project Loon.
If it's low Earth orbit, but if you have a weather satellite that's out there at 22,200 miles, you're not going to get a balloon out there.
See, I totally disavow those distance claims, and because the way that they do it, they take the signal and that's cool. So what equation do you use to determine distance?
Parallax. You just use simple trigonometry. It's basic trigonometry.
Really? So what's the length of your baseline?
Well, let's see. For space station, it was 760 meters.
760 meter baseline to determine the distance to the space station.
Yep.
Okay. And so you're saying it's impossible for the ISS to move over a plane.
What does that have to do with me measuring the distance?
You're trying to say that somehow you have the dome, and then there's the inside underneath the dome.
There are layers inside of it.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Multiple
what you're
domes.
trying to say. But that's not what the Hebrew says. The Hebrew says it's in the firmament.
Yeah.
Okay. So if the definition of firmament is solid, how are the celestial bodies going to be in the firmament, not underneath? Because there's a lot of ways in Hebrew to say underneath the firmament.
Well, they're within the solid firmament.
And wait a second. And there's a lot of ways to say that the celestial bodies are over the firmament.
Well, they're not above or
in
below
Hebrew.
because there's layered. They're within it.
The easiest way to understand.
Yeah, but you can't have that if the firmament's solid. That's what I'm trying to say.
But ice and water can go from solid, so maybe it could change.
No,
prove that it's flat and stationary. All observations prove the globe to be a lie, and all of the globe measurements, the radius of the Earth, the diameter, the distances, they're all assumed. There's no science behind them.
Well, I'd like to point out that it is interesting that NASA was funded and started by after Operation Paperclip with Nazis, right?
Yeah.
And so I go,
We're
why
also
wouldn't
the same people that went to Antarctica. That the continent that these people that Hitler took over there is 5 times bigger than the United States, and that it has, 50 million people living on it?
So after the war, a crazy number of Russian
But
submarines.
they say it's under the ice.
Well, they might. There might be stuff underneath, but there's also lands beyond.
Mhm.
There's like 1,000 Russian submarines disappeared and 250,000 people disappeared.
Right.
Right? We have observations where we can see mountaintops 700 miles away, and from that observer height, which you calculate in using their globe math, and there's actually 4 formulas to calculate the curve of the Earth. We use the one that gives the globe the benefit of the doubt. That's actually less, and at 700 miles away from that altitude, the tops of those mountains should be over 50 miles below a physical curve, but they all are right there. They're all visible. You know what they say about that? Nothing. They won't. They can't address it. They just pretend it doesn't exist.
Is every pilot just in on this? I mean, they have to know.
No. Well, they definitely experience a flat, stationary Earth, right? They're trained that way. I think just like everyone believes the Earth's a globe, you never think about it. I've had many pilots that reach out to me once they realize, and they say, I can't believe I never thought about this after flying for 20, 30 years. You know, former military pilots have reached out to me, for example. But so they're trained to fly like it's flat and stationary, and they just assume the Earth's so big you can't tell, right? It's never even a conscious thought
But then when people bring this information to them, they have an epiphany, basically. And I have dozens of pilots who have reached out to me, many of which can't even publicly state it for obvious reasons, which is insane and unacceptable. But so no, they're not in on it. They just fly the plane like the Earth is flat and stationary, right? And then I guess it's just out of sight, out of mind type of thing. No one really even considers this idea.
Who are the founders of NASA? We got Ronald Hubbard, right? Ron Hubbard, founder of Scientology. Walt Disney, a cartoon producer. Werner von Braun, a actual Nazi. Okay. Jack Parsons, right? And an occultist and Aleister Crowley, the most wicked man in the world. These are the founders of NASA.
Are you serious? I don't think anyone knows this.
Everyone knows this. Not everyone. A lot of people know this. Those are the founders.
The general. Right. I can guarantee you, my buddies have no clue.
Yeah.
I'd love to get my buddy Todd on here. He'll try so hard to viciously fight you on all this. He thinks he's brilliant. Founders of NASA. Oh my God, Hubbard, Disney, Braun. Wow.
You live in Florida.
Weiss is such a liar, isn't he? Just unbelievable. What
He's really good at finding people to eat up this bull crap, though.
Right, yeah.
Oh, man.
We've got the
bottom of the barrel.
That thing with Roseanne Weiss and twat number 2, it sounded like if you got a nursing home and wired it up with an audio link. You know what I mean? There's no custard on Fridays. Ooh.
That's her
Just
son,
nonsense.
that guy. That's Roseanne Barr's
is
son.
it?
Yeah.
You just watched 2 clout chasers chasing clout, trying to be famous so bad. They want to be famous so bad you bleed.
Right.
And I think it's silly because a lot of the things he says you can just easily fact check. Like when he said Russia sent thousands of subs, Russia's not even produced more than 800 subs since the 1940s, all the way up to the 2000s. They only have like 60 to 80 subs right now. When have they ever had 1,000 subs?
Right, it's just mental.
Never.
And the thing he said right at the beginning, you may remember, he says, "I'm not making any claims," and then immediately makes a claim about a photo of a building and 100 years of growth or something on it.
Yeah. And then Alex Jones, I can't believe he's on our side here, was saying, records, there's photographs. He goes, oh, everything's Photoshopped now.
Right.
Like, fucking hell.
If you get debunked by Alex Jones, you know you've hit bottom.
I think the most dangerous thing that David Weiss said was make up your own mind. No, listen, anybody listening, don't make up your own mind. Your own mind is shit.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Most people's minds are shit. Don't make up your own mind. Go and find some information out.
Right.
We just need a clip where Alex Jones says it's photoshopped and then the reaction of those 2 other ones and then cut it off. And then as an audio clip, repeat it, and every time a flat earther is on here, show him that.
Yeah.
Now, the founders of NASA, they got one right?
I think it would be better if
Yeah,
they had Dave Weiss photoshopped in there.
Yeah. Werner von Braun, but the rest of them, I don't think any of them. I mean, Jack Parsons was dead like 6 years before or something. So he definitely wasn't the founder. And Walt Disney, I mean, where has he got this crap from? The thing is with Weiss, though, and you notice this in some of the other stuff, like when Jones was challenging him, and it's always the same. Whenever he's challenged on anything, his answer is always, oh, well, there's this video about it somewhere. He's always got some video that someone's made, and he gets it all from that. It's unbelievable, that guy.
I mean, I think what the first clip demonstrated quite aptly is that Alex Jones isn't insane. He's just fucking appalling.
Right.
That's pretty much it. That's what you can take from that. Because he's not buying any of this lunacy, is he? None of it.
Right. He wants to protect his little field of stuff where he can say, the government are trying to take your guns and they're making frogs gay,
Sure.
And he doesn't want it. He doesn't want this fluff hanging around that makes it all seem so crazy and out there,
Well, he's working within a different part of the bell curve, isn't he? Which is the larger and therefore more profitable.
Right.
And if he dilutes it with the extreme end of the bell curve, he's actually going to denigrate his his reputation.
Right. Right. You've got to retain some level of credibility, right? You can't be too out there.
Well, the good money is in selling something to the average idiot, not the extreme idiot.
Yeah. Okay, shall we move on?
I have an observation here. He said all those buildings and stuff that were built in the 1800s were actually built prior to that. But what about, like, why is that true for that, but not true for Jack Parsons?
He actually said he had a picture from the 1700s, and I thought that was amazing.
Right, because the first photos weren't till sometime in the 1800s, were they? I don't know, can't remember.
1831.
Right.
Or so you're told.
Yeah. Okay, Joe Hanvey is the new saviour of flat Earth these days, but do you remember his humble beginnings? Take a look. Another long clip.
And you see it there. 3 cameras simultaneously picking up a 24-hour sun on the flat Earth model. You can't keep arguing that it didn't work, that it's not working. It absolutely works. If I had a 4th camera, we'd get all 4 of them to show it. So it is viable in the flat Earth model. The final experiment is dead as a falsifier against the flat Earth for the 24-hour sun.
Now, when people pointed out to Joe that the sun was moving in the wrong direction still, he released another video explaining this one. Here it is.
So if that green piece of tape represents the center of the clock face in the southern sky dome, I'm moving the light east to west around Capricorn. The green piece of tape represents the center point of the sky in Antarctica. That is a counterclockwise motion going around that green piece of tape. It's simple.
As you can see, below the red line, the sun is still moving from left to right, which is the wrong direction. People pointed out that it was still wrong, and Joe released another video explaining these two. Here it is. I honestly can't say this video makes any sense to me, and I was not alone. More people told him that it did not make sense, so he released yet another video to explain these 3, and here is that one. You can see that the reflected sun is moving between the E and W, east and west, from left to right, meaning the sun is still moving in the wrong direction. So this is not anywhere near a final experiment killer, as Joe said, and thankfully he saw that based on feedback from me and others, and he removed both of these videos. Then I hear from someone again the next day saying Joe has a new video out. It's titled, "This is the Death Blow to TFE." Oh boy, let's check this one out. Here it is.
It's taken me days of repeating this and repeating this and repeating this and repeating this and screwing up and putting those screw-ups out there, unfortunately. That's the bad part. I regret that. But now I've got it right, and I'm going to show you why. Now, when I move it east to west around Capricorn, you're going to see that it goes behind the viewer counterclockwise. It disappears behind the viewer counterclockwise.
You'll notice in this video again, the reflected sun is moving from left to right, which is wrong.
This is a complete falsifier for the final experiment, being a falsifier for flat Earth.
Now, within a few hours, this video was removed by Joe and replaced with a new video titled, "Now It's 100% Correct." Here we go.
I'm going to start on the opposite side of the room. All right, now I'm going east to west. East to west. Going east to west.
As you can see, the reflection on the dome to the south of where we will be in Antarctica is still moving from left to right, which is the wrong direction. Just a few hours later, this video was deleted and he posted yet another video. Check it out.
Now that I've got the cardinal directions in there correctly, it's easy to see it's working perfectly. So this should clear it up. The so-called final experiment, which is just an observation, is not going to falsify flat Earth. If anything, it'll confirm it. So good luck. Have fun.
The next day, Joe released a clarification video without any audio, and as you can see, the reflected sun is still moving in the wrong direction from left to right. This clarification video was still confusing to people, so Joe released another clarification video the same day.
Clarify the cardinal directions because I understand this is extremely difficult to understand. This is the toughest aspect of perspective that I have encountered with this model. But it's worked out now. This is correct. The sun comes from the east to the west. So the cardinal directions are correct. The demonstration works. You can have a 24-hour counterclockwise sun in Antarctica, no matter how far, if you're far enough south, no matter where you're at in Antarctica, within the flat Earth model. Is it a reflection? Yes, it's absolutely a reflection in my opinion, but I believe it would be a perfect reflection because in a sense, we live on a mirror covered by a mirror.
So after these 3 videos, the first one and the 2 clarification videos, Joe deleted all 3 of them and uploaded yet another new video.
So the problem was the cardinal directions the whole time. And you can perfectly see that the cardinal directions are now correct. And that means that it does work. That it is proof of concept, not proof. It is proof of concept for the flat Earth assuming a celestial dome. It's proof of concept. So there is no way to falsify the flat Earth with a counterclockwise 24-hour sun when you can see it working perfectly. And this clears it up. 100% clears it up. There's no more debate on it. I'm putting it to bed.
Once again, notice the reflected sun and its motion below the orange crosses. It's moving from left to right. This is the wrong direction. So he called this the final video. I'll give you one guess what happened next. You guessed it. This video was removed and a new one was put up the next day.
You can plainly see now north, east, south, west, that you are getting that counterclockwise motion. You absolutely are.
And you'll see once again, the sun is moving from left to right under the green cross. I got an email from someone and they said, Will, you are not going to believe this. Joe deleted his last video, put up a new one, and now he has the flashlight inside the dome.
This is the answer. The sun is a projected focal point inside that is coming from a source inside the dome.
Well, this model creates at least 4 suns, if not more. If I pause it, you can see a bunch of them. When I watch this video in slow motion, you see a ton of suns all over the place. I don't think that's what Joe wants to argue. And seeing as he deleted this video very quickly and uploaded yet another one the next day, I think he would agree. Let's do this again.
That's my final opinion on it. It's taken me a long time to get to this point. A lot of doing this over and over and over and seeing how I was getting it wrong in every other way. But this is my theory on, my final theory on what is occurring. That it is an optical illusion of a apparent path of travel due to the light of the realm being folded upwards in the 4 corners.
So is this Joe's final video on the topic? And the answer is no. He deleted this final video just a few hours after he put it up and replaced it with this one.
That's why they're able to convince us we live on a ball, because when you get to the south, the cardinal directions flip.
North would be down and back, south would be up, east and west stay the same. So it's always a clockwise travel. It's just an apparent counterclockwise travel due to the flipping of the cardinal directions.
Joe removed this video shortly after releasing it and put out one final video. Truly final this time.
Well, here's the problem. And it all has to do with the cardinal directions. In both models, there is no counterclockwise. So if you're in the south and you're inside the circle of the sun on the globe, talking about the globe right now, if you're inside the circle of the sun on the globe, you are no longer looking at anything that's counterclockwise. It's going west. The sun is going west. Remember, there is no up or down on a globe, so there can't be counterclockwise.
And thankfully, Joe removed even this video as well. I count a total of 16 attempts, and seeing as Joe has removed all of them, not even one of these videos remains. I think even he sees that his model does not account for a 24-hour sun on a flat Earth.
Oh, that was painful, wasn't it?
Oh, that's all I can hear is his mum about a week later saying, "Joe, love, have you seen my red parcel tape?"
yeah.
Or her popcorn bowl.
What?
Yeah.
He is
Also,
one of the
why is
dumbest
it?
people I've ever seen on the internet.
Why is it so dirty? Like when he does this and records a video, why doesn't he clean up his dome like after use, right? But sorry, I'm not implying anything.
When's he going to put a 360 camera inside?
Sure, this is the thing. I was sniggering up until the point when he had his hand underneath whipping.
Yeah.
He really is struggling.
Yeah, that was funny. I got it this time. Look, guys.
What level of schizophrenia is this?
Well, it's interesting. He did a live stream with Joe Duffy. I don't know if anyone saw it, but he was really nasty. It all came pouring out. All this stuff he's been doing about how hard he works and how much time he spends on this. And he was just, just basically calling Duffy demonic or something along those lines. And just, he just sounded, he just turned into your standard vile, religious extremist.
I watched that one, and he wanted to rage quit, and he like multiple times said, "Oh, I'm going now. And when he was about to actually go, he couldn't find the button, and he was like silent for a good 15 seconds.
Out. It was quite funny.
It was hanging for a long time, and even Duffy said, "Do I have to do something here?"
Yeah.
See,
To be fair, he was calling him a liar the whole time. I mean, I can kind of see why he was a little upset.
Right.
I mean, I'm no expert, but if you want to demonstrate what it looked like on the surface of a flat Earth looking up into the heavens, take away the fucking redundant AE map and put some cameras there.
Right. I think he did
Why have they
try
got
that in
cameras on
an
the
earlier
outside?
video, actually. I think he did do one where he had cameras in it.
It's just so annoying. They have cameras wafting around outside. Oh, look, I can hear. Well, fuck off. That's not where you are, unless you're on the International Space Station, perhaps.
Right.
He needs to give his mom her popcorn bowl back.
Yeah.
He does. Should be living with dirty fingerprints all over it. Oh.
Okay, moving on. As the whole world went right-wing last year, here in the UK, we bucked the trend and voted in a Labour government, which was very upsetting to a lot of far-right loons who had allowed their respective social media bubbles to delude them into thinking they were going to win. So they staged some riots, which occasionally produced some amusing moments. And
Pure British. Yes, mate. English, mate. I am English. Well, listen. You're live on YouTube. What do you want to say?
I'm a fucking true Englishman. It's about time we don't fucking true and told them all. Fuck off.
Get it off your chest, bro.
Listen, if the machine be white, no fucking aren't. We want your fucking hard when it's the time in your fucking country. You're ashamed be fucking white to be an Englishman when it's time back and it's on. Fuck off.
You've got 1,000 people watching you, mate. Respect me, ass man.
You're mate. Look at you and I'm watching.
You get back! You get back! Move back! That's all! Get back! What are you doing? Go on! Go on, yeah!
That was epic, wasn't it? Yeah, sorry, I meant.
Oh,
right.
that was so good.
I knocked the fuck
Nice.
out with that bike tire.
Yeah.
The dog.
Also, I have to apologize, but from the first person in that video, I only understood fuck. Everything else was just
Yeah,
muffled.
that's why I put him in there. I couldn't understand anything he was saying.
Well, I've done some research, and if anybody's interested who's not English and find some of our local dialects difficult to understand, the transcript of what he said was, "Fuck off." So,
Yeah.
I hope that clarifies the situation.
The woman,
okay.
the
Thank
woman
you.
pushing the wheelie bin that was on fire that landed flat on her face. She ended up in prison for that. I can't remember what sentence she got, but she did get a custodial sentence for doing that.
And the dog bite the guy in the ass.
Ass bit by the
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah, that was great, wasn't it? And I especially like the bit,
Just
bit
beating
towards.
his legs with the fucking billy stick or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever their billy club.
I like the bit at the end of that clip though, where you can hear. I think it's the cameraman or someone next to him going, "You get back, you get back," as they walk backwards away.
The police dog. The police dog deserves all the treats.
Yeah.
And they
What
thought
they all
the
really have in what they all really have in common is that they're either carrying a grudge or a can of lager.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
You know, the cops there were far more aggressive about that than the ones that were like in Canada the other year with the fucking truckers.
I was shocked to see them so aggressive. That
They
was
were
awesome.
they were violent riots though, and the truckers wasn't really that, was it? It was a sort of an occupation, but it never really got to them throwing stuff at the police or setting fire to things or any of that. But I do think this
Yeah,
was
not so
I think
much.
this was
Pretty
completely staged. I think they latched onto this stabbing incident, but I think they would have found something to have a riot about if that hadn't come up. I think there's evidence that
Right.
this was planned in advance, and yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
You've only got to look at some of those. These are in like suburban neighborhoods, and by day 2 or 3, everyone's front garden, the road, the pavement is strewn with devastation. The
Right.
police are on duty there for the 4th day. At any time, there could be a surge, and they could be literally just, hospitalized, for no reason other than just trying to stop people from getting and moving around. Yeah.
Right.
You can understand how if anybody comes up to the police and starts giving them something in the face, fuck them. Go just get a dog to bite their ass.
Right.
Get them on the ground. I mean,
Yeah.
these are only human beings, and if some of these police are doing that for like 4 or 5 hours solid before they're taken away,
Right.
it must be a horrific situation to be in, because ultimately those police that stood there, they're not these people's problems.
Right.
They're only there being, these people are just utterly redundant sacks of stupid protoplasm who are just angry with these people for no reason that actually relates to these people.
Right. It's all just whipped up on social media, as we saw at the time.
Yeah.
But
Fat-headed fat idiots.
right.
Getting hit with a brick by your own people, that was...
I know, and so, you know, it was just perfect, wasn't it? Because he gets hit. First one is, it hits a police shield, bounces off, and hits him on the front of his head. And then almost at the same time, he gets hit on the back of his head by something, then staggers off and gets one in the balls. I mean, it couldn't be better, could it?
Also, in the other video, someone wanted to throw to the policeman a bike tire and hit their own people.
Right,
as well.
yeah.
that clip of that man is
show.
is never going to go away. That'll be in your review of the decade, Jim.
Yeah, definitely. It was epic, wasn't it? Okay, 2024 really was a terrible year for the Flatties. Even High Priest Oakley found himself in trouble when he had to face the realization that he couldn't mute real life. Take a look.
So when you're talking about the Earth being measured flat, what I don't understand is so when you're measuring an angle to a star, that sounds more like an angle measurement, not a flat Earth measurement. Well, I also don't understand why having a flat baseline for an angle measurement means that the Earth has to be flat. Sounds like you're confusing a flat baseline with a flat Earth.
Well, it is a flat Earth. So part of the definition of elevation angle measurement is an imaginary line between the observer and the sun, and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. That's the definition of an elevation angle. It's a prerequisite for the measurement.
Well, like I said, you could measure an elevation angle with like a protractor on a string. You don't need to involve the Earth surface at all. So why does this mean the Earth is flat?
So you're suggesting that when you're doing celestial navigation, you don't need to measure for the GP below the star?
Not just when you're measuring an angle.
Yeah, for the GP.
Well, when you're measuring the angle, the GP of the star is not involved yet.
Yeah, but that's what you're trying to achieve.
No, that's not true.
So you're saying you don't use a GP in celestial navigation?
You do use the GP in celestial navigation.
Right, so you need the GP to be on the end of a flat baseline?
No.
It could be down tomorrow.
It only works.
It could be down tomorrow.
So when you're talking about an elevation angle,
Just to make.
you've got a flat baseline, that's horizontal.
That flat baseline could be down tomorrow.
It could be, but it could also be on the surface of the globe.
I mean, it could, because you've got a horizontal base to get the angle.
You can't have an
Oh. So, this is an elevation angle measurement. So this is you, this is the star, and this is the point that you're trying to achieve. This is called the ground position, which is on the ground. You're nodding your head like no.
No. Well, you're not trying to achieve that point on the ground. That doesn't make any sense.
So how do we do celestial navigation then?
Well, you have the GP. And
So we do have this point on the ground. So do you want to take the mic off that guy?
We have
Do you want to just take the mic off that guy? Do you want to take the mic off that guy for me?
Not on the mic, just shout it. When you're measuring the elevation.
So we do use the GP.
You use the GP.
So do you want to just put the mic down? Because we do use this position. You say we don't use. I don't need you chanting through me. We do use this point.
You're interrupting me.
Yeah, I'm the host.
You're wrong.
Okay, we heard that. But then we've got your concession that we're using the GP.
Yeah, but why? Where's the flat Earth in this?
At the end of the GP.
Right, but how do you know it's flat?
Because it's got a right angle at the end of it.
Okay, well that just means it's below, the GP is below the star.
Yeah, so the ground position's below the star. You got that?
Yeah.
It's on the ground.
It's on the ground.
And it is us measuring it on the ground.
No, you're not measuring the GP.
I'm not, am I not?
No, you're measuring an elevation.
Yeah, we're measuring this line. This flat.
No.
So we're not measuring this flat line.
No.
So this angle's being formed with a curve, is it?
You're not measuring it.
We are, we're measuring an elevation angle. That's what this is. I'll just define it again. Just while this guy chants through me as I define again what we're measuring. An imaginary line between the observer and the sun, and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. That's what we're measuring.
You're not measuring the horizontal plane.
That's part of the definition. Right, I'll just read out a few of the definitions.
That's not the flat Earth.
Can I read out a few of the definitions, or is this guy taking over? Do you want to just grab the mic off him so I can give a few definitions? So I'll just define it for you. Altitude angle, sometimes referred to as solar elevation angle. Why has he still got the mic?
Because you might want to talk in a minute.
Okay, I've heard him. He says no, it's not a GP. He says no, it's not on the ground.
Oakley, absolutely fucking pathetic, isn't he? Just tries every little trick in the book, doesn't he?
Can someone take the mic off Jem? Can someone take the mic off Jem, please? He's saying take the mic off Jem.
And he'll do that thing, you'll see
Yeah.
it later in another clip where he goes, oh, so we've got your concession that you need the GP. That wasn't a concession. He never said you didn't need the GP. He said you weren't measuring the GP.
He doesn't have a mic. He's just
Well,
yelling.
he doesn't know the difference between a geometric plane and a physical plane, and that's the problem with Oakley. Because a geometrical plane is X, Y, and Z, and that's all there is to it.
I think the most interesting thing at the moment is that it's in this insistence of the right-angled triangle, which means there's 3 straight lines, and that means the line of sight between you and the star and the path of the light is just a straight line. Yeah. So how does that work with the water Bislin bendiness, boys and girls?
Right.
Hey, Jem, there's a new guy in our server, Fligagugu. He was in the room
Yeah.
in that clip.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's the-
yeah.
It's his mate that was talking, but he was there
Right.
in that session.
Yeah, I've spoke to him about it. It's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, I couldn't really show that previous clip without the follow-up. It seems Nathan was more than a little annoyed by having his lies challenged, and he let Flatty meetup organizer Ian Leahy know about it in no uncertain terms. Enjoy.
Before that, we'd had dinner. Nathan had come down. We'd had dinner. It was a nice evening. It was all good. He was sort of saying, you know, these things are sort of an inconvenience because I like my live show and I get paid. He said, but obviously, you know, this would, it's not a problem, etc. It's not a problem. Anyway, he enjoyed it. And the whole thing, he ended the show. Any more questions? No. Thanks very much. Thanks for having me. Everyone claps. Yay, brilliant. All good. And you'll see in the end of the video, the last soundbite you hear is he was going. I said, "Oh, Nathan, I've got to give you your money." We went outside, divvied up some money. It was one of the, to be honest, and I think it's probably because it was Nathan. It was one of the lower turnout ones we'd had.
Okay, yeah.
Whatever. And it's not everybody's cup of tea. I'm sure he's okay with that. So anyway, we give him the money. We gave him all the money. We didn't do a 50 split because I know he doesn't have much, and I know it's a bind for him to do it. Didn't matter. He had the gate money, right? Whatever, go take. And that's it. And it was a great thing. And these two Glober lads, they're only young lads. They just finished university, I think. They're just kids. They stayed for an hour afterwards with 30 flat earthers conversing in a wonderful way. I don't know how it ended. I haven't spoken to many people of it since, but it was fantastic. It was a really nice discourse. Fine. They were wrong. They're Globers. They shouldn't have been there, and they got schooled. At that night, obviously, Nathan would have gone home, and he sent a text saying, "Thanks very much for the cash. All great. It made the whole experience much better." Then it said about his fuel, all that great. Anyway, he said, "I hope your guests enjoyed the presentation and the Q&A. Did you get any feedback other than the woman saying the guy at the end was rude?" Some woman just shouted, "You know, he's a bit rude, wasn't he, at the back?" Because he was shouting without the microphone. He shut up at the end, obviously. And then Nathan said, when will the video be uploaded? I said, "Oh, Nathan, thank you for coming. It was an incredibly informative evening. Cannot believe those Globers came. They turned out they came from Stoke-on-Trent just to have a go at him." But, you know, that's the sort of people you attract, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I said they were being schooled for an hour after you went. I'll do the video perhaps Thursday, definitely the weekend. Really enjoyed it. There's enormous value in a good presentation of your info. Thanks again, or whatever. He said, did your guests enjoy the presentation? Yes, they did. You came across very well. It would pay to have perhaps a structured presentation, but it was incredibly good and very enjoyable. Fine. And this is the following morning, those last couple, right?
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, that's great." And I wasn't expecting anything else at all. I thought, great, everyone's happy. I'll upload it. It'll be fantastic. And then the text, which I found the most bizarre in a pattern of things I've ever had. And it said, he replies, "Excellent." I said, "Oh, great. You know, why did you give a member of the audience the mic and walk off and leave the guest with the mic and the ability to interrupt and ask the same question repeatedly? Ignore me when I ask you to take the mic you left the guest with and back off him," right? And I thought, okay, so I'm reading on again. Being told by another guest that I should let him, the guy you left with the mic, finish? Because obviously he was trying to explain something. And it said, giving me repeat question with a no, over the top, absolutely infuriating, and the reason I vanished immediately. And I thought, whoa. I thought, that's a bit bizarre, because every day you tell Globers exactly what the deal is.
Yeah.
And why would you react like this? Why didn't you come and sit down? And maybe we could have had a brilliant discourse.
Yeah.
Without that, would have been maybe got a viral video. Whatever, it didn't matter. It didn't happen. It went the other way. And he said, and as you heard, that was very rude by another guest. Reaction to what seemed absolutely intentional by you. And I'm thinking, hey, hold on a minute. And I said, it is, of course, the first time this has ever happened. And I said, and they travelled a long way to argue with you. And I said, laugh out loud, thinking we were still pals at this point, right? You know. And then they said, diatribe. I'll really quick. You handed him the mic. You walked away, left him in charge. I didn't. I was next to him. I took the mic. You'll see it on the video. You ignored me when I asked you to take it back, have the floor. You claimed the floor. It's my floor. Blah, 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 blah. Questions and answers. And then it goes into a capitals thing. This is where I think Nathan's been quite angry. And it says, not enter a live public debate with the same question repeated because you gave a latecomer control of the mic and walked off, leaving him in charge, ignoring my request to retake control of your event. You are either, it says, deaf and incompetent.
Wow.
Are malicious, and we're happy that your guest host was entering into a live debate with a random paying guest controlling the mic during a Q&A. Are a shill.
Wow.
And part of the plan, just playing your role, handing off the microphone and filming it as the plan kicks in. I don't care which, as you have failed to answer my questions in a satisfactory manner. Don't ask me to take part in any future events, blah, blah, blah. He said it was a terrible inconvenience and it wasn't worth the perceived betrayal, which you are seemingly unapologetic for. He says, then he goes on to some diatribe. This is insane, but he says, I wish you every success in your military dry cleaning property development. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a confusion of we were talking at lunch and I was sort of telling him what I've done in the past.
Right, okay.
And that was it. Never contact me again. So, well, not in that. It said that I hope future endeavours don't interfere with him ever again. And I thought, wow.
I would have thought that there would have been nobody better to face off with a Glober than him. That, you know, I've seen him on a daily.
Bizarrely enough, there was a missed opportunity there. Really. I mean, we've never had that opportunity before where we've had Globers. So
yeah, instead of going the other way and just thinking it was an ambush or some kind of setup. Come on.
A flat earther would do that.
Come on. No. So it is, but like you said, there's paranoia. There's a lot of paranoia within this community anyway. But it's.
I mean, I don't think we're ever going to be friends, but I do wish him well in what he does.
Of course.
He's got a book coming out, and I think that book will be incredibly good.
Yeah, of course.
But no, there's no love lost now, I'm afraid. But listen, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That is the drama of Flat Earth, and it's been like it since 2014.
Yeah.
He's a mardy bastard, isn't he, that Oakley?
Nobody better to face off to Globers than him. Where'd he get that from?
I know. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? They just don't get it, do they? Why would Oakley avoid that kind of a confrontation? Why would he do that? Just can't think. Just can't think why he would do that.
I can reel off the name of a dozen flat earthers who will sit indefinitely going back and forth with Globers. They might be abusive, they might get crossed, but they'll sit there and they'll have a one-on-one. They'll go back and forth, back and forth. Some of them are a bit musy every now and then, aren't we all? But Nathan Oakley resides completely behind the mute.
Right, absolutely. It's all about censoring people, talking over them, straw manning them. He does that almost as a matter of like breathing. Straw man. You know, he'll say they said something or just flip what they said and pretend that they conceded, as we saw. Just, he's so awful.
Yeah. He's in love with his priority speaking function.
Yeah.
Like the basically auto-mute other people when he speaks.
Right. Okay, one more on this Oakley debacle. Here is what happened when Ian tries to take on Oakley in his digital temple.
Nathan, can you hear me?
Yes, hello, Ian. Thanks for having me yesterday.
No, fuck off. I'm really pissed off with that text you sent me. What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you writing to me, fucking saying all that for? Seriously, why? Because what, Nathan? Because two Globers snuck in, which we've never seen before. They went to the back, and when it was question time, they had the mic for 30 seconds longer than you wanted them to at my place.
Let me get it straight. Have you joined?
Nathan,
have you joined a live stream to moan at me about a gripe I had with the way that you run your show? You've joined my live show to moan at me about this, correct?
Yeah, you called me a shill. You called me.
I did not say you were a shill. Now you're lying on my live show about what I've said.
Well, do you want?
No, you're airing this gripe that I've had with you on a live stream and telling me how pissed off you are to my audience. What are you doing? Why are you here? If you want to discuss a gripe with me that I've had with you, you can do it with me in private. You don't need to join my live stream and rumpus the living crap out of me. What are you doing?
Live stream because you.
Why are you rumpusing me? You're not listening to me. You're talking through me like you run this show, like you failed to run your show adequately. Now I'm going to moan at you about that in private. But if you're going to join my live stream and try and take over and chant through me, I'm not going to allow that to happen, Ian. You can either listen to what I'm telling you or get lost. You're not going to just chant through me. I'm still talking.
Do I get a chance to
I'm still talking and I run this show, Ian.
Okay.
Yeah, don't be disrespectful when I run the show. Just because you were incapable of running your event to a satisfactory standard that I moaned about doesn't mean you get to come on my live show and moan at me about how I've moaned at you. If you want to discuss it with me in private, you're welcome to. What the hell are you doing coming on my live stream bitching and moaning about how I've bleated to you about something you're inadequate doing? That's something I discussed with you in private. What are you doing here?
You removed me from the group, you belly.
You've got my private Skype information. You can discuss this with me in private.
Do it in private, Nathan.
You can do it in private. That's not on a live stream. That means get lost and contact me in private.
I won't be.
Don't stutter on my live show. How dare you come on my live show? Because I've moaned at you in private about your inadequacies. Yeah, I have. Yeah, your failures got moaned at and displeased me greatly. Now you want my live audience to know how much you've displeased me that I told you in private? Yes, you have displeased me with your crappy behaviour and how you run your event. And yes, I did moan about it. Yeah, and I will. I've got every right to, being put to great inconvenience by you. So yeah, I'll moan about it all I bleeding like on my show. No, I didn't intend to. I've had nothing but good words to say about you. I had nothing but positivity, and now you've come and bleated at me because I've had a little gripe at you. Yeah, I have.
Tell them, Nathan, about the shill calling me a
shill. Is it just me, G plus panel? Is it just me, G plus panel, or are you not hearing what I'm saying?
I'm trying to talk through you.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. So you're going to disrespect me on my own bleeding show now?
Kick him the fuck out.
Excuse me, why are you disrespecting me on my own bleeding show? Yes, you can take charge of what you want to do in your event. This is not that anymore, you disrespectful little man. How dare you? Come here, bleating, because I've had a little gripe about how crap you are. What a bleeding outrage.
In life, when you're doubting something, don't do it.
Sound advice from Neil Constantino there. In life, when you're doubting something, don't do it.
Proof of the
wisdom.
luminaries there.
He's such a vile cunt, and he really is. God, I hate that guy.
He is redundant, though.
Yeah, I think he's fallen out with too many flat earthers. I do.
Yeah.
He
And it's like
Yeah, he got nowhere to go.
What's he got? I mean, the final experiment, the first expedition, is which it's now calling it. Yeah, this observation and this discussion and everything that's been going on. Okay, right. He's out of it. He's got nothing to do with it. He doesn't care about it. He just calls it. Oh, it's inconsequential. But yet, every single time that QE and him do their fucking flat Earth debate since then, okay, right, it is literally obsessed with either picking apart Whitstone or Jerry, and they've got nothing else to discuss.
Right.
Nothing at all.
Right. And they do that thing as well quite a lot of the time where they sort of play the Glober, don't they? Sort of thing. Or
Yeah, they do.
they sort of do this. They
He's
sort
an
of play out this thing for his housekeeping questions. Oh, we could do that, but we don't have any actual measurements. You know, or some, you know, they have these lines that they trip out like, oh, they're just such sycophants, you know?
Yeah. And there they are. There was a in the middle of their in their feed, they got the graphics coming up, and one of them is showing how the sextant actually works, and it's got 4 or 5 right-angled triangles all pointing to the sun at the same altitude. Yeah,
Right.
They've got no idea of the ramifications of that. Anybody who understood, I mean, a lot of flat earthers stay well clear of saying there's a right-angled triangle because they understand the ramifications of that.
Right.
It's redundant. It's utterly finished. He's got nothing to add but an insult fest. Mute, insult, unmute. Mute, insult, unmute. And it doesn't matter whether it's a person or a video. That's
Right.
all they do.
Right. I wonder what
No
his
input.
book's going to be like. Apparently, it's the housekeeping questions, I'm told. That's what the book is about, basically.
Well, I hope it's pop up or scratch and sniff, or it's got little holes in it like the very hungry caterpillar. 'Cause it's going to need something.
Yeah. Okay, a clip with a happier note next. Will Duffy's final experiment gave one extra flatty a golden ticket chance to join the expedition, and the winner was pretty pleased about it.
And we have a winner.
Too late.
Oh my God!
Thank you,
DFP. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
It's okay. Take a deep breath.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Congratulations, Liz. It's all it's okay.
Okay.
You got this.
I'm
You got
calm.
this.
Ooh. Thank you, TFE. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Flat Earth Gang. Thank you, Bird. Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, everybody. I won't let us down. I'm here for the truth. I promise. Okay. I need a sip of water. I'm so sorry.
You're good. You're good. You're good. So, Liz, you have a very big following, and you have a lot of fans. They trust you, and you're going to be representing a lot of people in Antarctica.
It's for us. It's for all of us. It's for all of humanity, all of mankind.
I think a lot of people are going to be excited to have you representing the Flat Earth side, and I'm happy to have you aboard as well.
Thank you. I'm so thankful for this opportunity. And one more shout out to Bert Pasquale, my NASA friend. You can Google search him. It's not a secret. He, through his kindness and support, is really what's really been able to push me to dig deeper. And with the support of Flat Earth Gang, has given me the strength to just stand on business and say it with my full chest. I'm a flat earther, baby.
Awesome.
I wonder if she still is. She's popped up on a couple of podcasts with Whitsitt and Jaron, but essentially they all ignored her.
She acted like she won a vacation.
I watched that and I'm a bit cynical and I'm wondering why on earth he chose her and not a nice piece of eye candy like Brian Leakey to go.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
It was
didn't
for
say
all
very
of
much.
mankind.
She hasn't said very much, or I'm not, the moment you say this, you sound misogynistic, but she's definitely been the pawn on the chessboard.
Right.
Was she wearing a skin tight onesie?
She's on air, probably. I mean, I don't know. I think she, I think it's a pity that more didn't go, frankly.
Yeah, yeah, because it would have been harder, wouldn't it, to have,
But I think more of the, Jaron took some. They all said that when they were flying over it, they were. It was very emotional when they were crying, and I'm sure that's a experience that we should be shared by. I know it would be an awesome, life-changing perception to see that as you flew over it. It was, there's a part of me that's angry that it was wasted on people who think that they were doing this for humanity. No, fuck off.
Right.
It's not a fucking Apollo mission.
Right.
You're on a tourist plane to a fucking tourist destination, you dopey bastard.
Right. Yeah.
It's like me making out that there's something great happening for humanity because I go to Torremolinos for 2 weeks to get a tan.
Okay. Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, have we seen much from Lisbeth or Lisbon after she got back?
Not
I know it was a
really.
little
No,
quick.
she's not been about much. But then she wasn't anyway, was she? Because she's on some other app somewhere, isn't she?
But has she talked about it on that app? Maybe.
I don't know. She, like I say, she popped up on a podcast, but she barely said anything, and they mostly just ignored her.
Oh, it's rude.
Anyway, another big podcaster who began worshipping at the altar of online lunatics last year was Candace Owens. Here she is doing her bit for women by amplifying the arrogant ignorance of an accused rapist who posts videos of his assaults on his trafficked and prostituted girlfriends, which of course is all just fine because he has far-right political views. Oh, bit of a sharp ending there. Yeah, I just know things because I've been around.
And being around is not information.
Candace
Holy
used to
moly,
be a
the-
Democrat and flipped to become a Republican when Trump ran for office.
Also, the irony of her. Also, the irony of her saying she left the mega church of science while a cross is behind her is like,
Right.
ouch.
But it's this sort of thinking that is at the base of all conspiratardism, isn't it? It's just, I know best. I can ignore the experts. I can ignore data. What I want to be true is just true because I've been around, you know?
Intellectual and academic snobbery. That's what it comes down to.
Right.
Do you remember her on Joe Rogan when Joe Rogan was grilling her about the environment?
Oh, no, I
She
didn't
said,
see
I don't
that.
care about the environment.
Did she? What an idiot.
How come you never do
Don't
your
you-
show some kickboxing shorts and a chair in front of an Audi?
Well, I mean, there's no need to think about.
was proactive.
There's no need to think about global warming because when Andrew Tate has ice in a drink and it melts, the drink doesn't overflow. So no global warming.
Well, I've been around, and that sounds like something I can take without facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stop giving us facts, Jim. For fuck's sake. What are the facts? What's the facts? What's going on, mate? Don't you know everything already in your own heart? Wait, why? How has this become something that's said? Not for comedic purposes. And how is it? There's a whole echelon there's generations going. Yeah.
Right.
That sounds good.
Right. It's just ridiculous.
This is a disaster.
I know. It really is. It's only going to get worse. This, it frightens me. I won't be too conspiratarded, but holy shit, it worries me, some of the things that are going on in the world. Anyway.
You're giving us nightmares. You're giving us nightmares, Jim. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. I don't tell you half the stuff that runs around in my head at the moment. Oh my God. Okay, everyone is a conspiratard these days, including even the First Lady, Donald Trump, whose conspiratarded ramblings led to this lovely song by the Kiffness.
A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that... Sending the dogs, sending the cats, sending the pets of the people that live. Sending the dogs, sending the cats, sending the pets of the people that live there. Whoa, 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 sing it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Of the people that live there. You're gonna sing, yo. Whoa, 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 sing it. All the people that live
That's good, isn't it, that song? I like that song.
Work
singing.
To point out,
Work
have to
through
point out this
says.
is in
Work through says. Be thankful for your thoughts are running around your head, Gem. Most flat earthers, their thoughts aren't even walking briskly. It's a good point.
I
Anyway,
have
go
to
ahead.
Point out, this is in Hamburg, Germany.
It was, yeah. I thought it was in Berlin,
Yeah.
actually. But I know
No,
it's in
that's
Germany.
Reeperbahn Festival. It's in Hamburg.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say, really? What can you fucking say? What?
He's the
fucking-
greatest president of all time.
What a world we live in.
I remember in the 80s hearing songs like rave songs and very long or instrumental trance music where they had little clips of Martin Luther King or
Right.
or or various presidents talking about going to the moon and stuff like that. Yeah, right. And this is where we are now.
Right. I know. What? I won't say anything.
What can you say? What's there to say?
I know, it's
It
just
roasts
unbelievable.
itself, doesn't it?
I know, it's incredible, isn't it? All right, in a feeble attempt to distance himself from the exposure of his lies that he knew was coming, High Priest Oakley banished Whitsit from the Flat Earth realm, ably assisted by his flying monkey, Quantum Eraser.
I'm sorry. I don't mind carrying on from 10 months
You
ago.
see how scared he is to have an
Hey,
eye?
Whit, how's it going? Hey, Whit,
Scared? How am I scared? I just asked you a
Can you hear me?
fucking question.
Just one second, John and Adam. Hi, Whitsy. I don't mind carrying on from here. So if it's not travelling through no thing, that's not proving ether then?
Oh, my whole point was that nothing cannot exist, and then
No. You told me that it was travelling through no thing, and you couldn't have no thing. It must be a thing to travel through, and that's what proved we had ether 10 months ago. Now we've got to the point where you're saying, I concede. So it's not proving... Is it just me or using your mute button on me when I come to the conclusion or you double speak? That
Oh, you're gonna cry about mute? I've been muted 17 times already.
Yeah, for fucking cause.
I'll just try that once more. So it's not proving ether then, Whitsit, because we're not going to describe how it travels through no thing, the vacuum, that would prove there's ether, because it's got to have something to travel through. So that crap that you peddled to me quite a few months ago does not prove ether then.
No, because that's a straw man of my position.
No. Right, so was that a no? It doesn't, does it, ether boy?
That's a straw man. So
Sorry, it doesn't prove ether then. Your claim that light travels through the thing and the thing is ether, proven by the fact light travels through it. Now you're saying I don't claim it travels. It's the rate of illumination. Bullshit. So that doesn't prove ether then. Because you contradicted yourself. You yield to your shite that didn't prove ether then.
Unbelievable.
okay, again, this is a straw man.
It's
So-
not a straw man. It's your claim.
Stop. What's a straw man? You told me what proved it was the travelling through it. Now you're saying it doesn't travel, so that doesn't prove it then, does it?
No, what I said was
brilliant.
propagation.
No,
Stop
Whitsit. No, Whitsit.
interrupting
No, now
me,
I'll make
dude.
the... Thank you.
Okay, so
Thanks,
my
Whitsit.
actual position is that waving is a
Why
type
is
of
he hammering
motion.
through me? No, he's conceded his failure. Now shut the hell up, you deceitful little shit.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't prove ether. You've lied to an entire community of people. You total scumbag. Now you so nonchalantly say no. No, it doesn't prove the thing you're trying to prove with it. You bullshitter. You disgust me.
You're a fucking clown, dude.
Okay, so that's a straw man. What I actually
It's your
Does that sound
claim.
like fear? His fear in his voice, his quivering, tightening throat. He knows he's been caught in his bullshit lies.
Yeah.
He's been lying to the entire.
or I'm around children.
And
I'm
now
not
he's
insane like you are.
There we
a
go
bitch,
with the ad homs.
muting me like a bitch while I point out his utter deceit.
Yep.
He's
Ad
deceived
homs.
the entire community and now he's so nonchalant. No, it doesn't prove it's travelling through it. You bullshitting little scumbag. You've
Was
deceived the
Whitsit
entire
ad-homming you,
community.
Nathan,
And
now?
now you so nonchalantly just say, no. And then fear comes into your voice where you tell me for the fourth time it's a straw man to the top of me telling you off. You're a deceitful little bullshitter, Whitsit.
Okay, so this is a straw man. My actual position is that
You hear the fear?
You're done.
Can you hear how terrified this little shit is?
That's because he's lied to all of you. He's a liar.
He's done.
Deceived the entire flat Earth community with this shite. That's why he sounds so terrified. You're a scumbag liar. No, it doesn't prove it. It doesn't. You lied to everybody.
Yep. Yes, he did. Gilly Pong, the other white knight.
Get out of this community, Witsit. I don't want you in Flat Earth anymore. Turn your back and piss off. You're not wanted here. You're a scumbag, deceitful liar, telling people that how it travels through this medium proves it, but now it doesn't travel. Oh, no, that doesn't prove it then. So you've been lying to everyone, just like I've been telling them. Get out of this community.
Yeah.
Get out.
Make sure you go down there with the final experiment, too. Because you're a flat Earth believer. At the very best, you're a flat Earth believer.
You talking to Flat Earthers again, Witsit. So help me. You don't deserve to be talking to Flat Earthers. You're not one of us. You're just a liar. You're like that guy going to Antarctica. You're just a liar.
He's mental, isn't he? He's got to be mental.
Yes, he's too protective.
Did Witsit never get to talk to him?
No,
I mean, it sounded like he got cut every
Just
time.
Cut him off constantly, didn't he? Never let him finish. Never even let him get more than about 3 words out, did he?
No, he didn't. I love the way that there was a minute of them going, cunt, toss her, and then Witsit said, I can't, I'm not going to lose my temper because I'm around children, and then Quantum goes, oh, here come the ad homs.
Right.
You know?
I know, it's unbelievable, wasn't it?
It's shameless. It's absolutely shameless.
Like you.
Yeah, that's not like a flat earther. Flat earthers are supposed to lose their temper around children. And sometimes hit them, evidently.
I was gonna say, yeah, like if there isn't like some angry person yelling in their car that just backhands a child out of the frame of the camera, then it's not a flat Earth video proper.
If you're saying Witsit's not a flat earther, then what is a flat earther?
Right. They said he's a flat
does it
Earth
mean?
believer. That must be some category they've cooked up. I don't know what that means.
I think it sounded like they were just saying, well, maybe you believe this is true, but you're too stupid to talk about it because you believe this other crazy thing.
But I think they're saying you've just got beliefs. You know, none of this is backed up by anything. Which,
Yeah,
of course,
that's
is
what I mean.
true.
Yeah.
But, you know, so is
sure.
everything Oakley says.
I think he knows that he can levy that attack on another flat earther because he's in that position himself, and he knows they're going to feel exactly that way. And he calls them out on it. It distracts from the fact he's the same.
Right. I think this was them trying to make sure they were separate from Witsit, and they were already in the slagging him off team because they knew that that's what was going to come with the final experiment.
Yeah, sure. Well, he went down. He tried to engage them a couple of times. I'm led to believe to try and say, well, anything he wants to do down there, is anything you want to add to it?
Right.
But that's where the inconsequential started.
Right.
You know? And it just you got traction from
And
there.
I know he spoke to them since about coming up with a model, and they were just, you know, it was the same as that, just shouting him down and what have you. I mean, it's horrible that I end up feeling sorry for Witsit and feeling that Witsit is being badly treated. But, you know, he is, and also he is a bullshitter. They all are.
But yeah, sure, you could do that, but you could also take that clip and and evaluate Witsit's behaviour against theirs and do it fairly. You know, it's not
Right.
it's not necessarily that you're sticking up for Witsit. You're just saying this is the conversation between the two. And there's loads like that, absolutely loads. Not just with Witsit as well, with other people
Right.
that won't tie the QE, Oakley, you know, the shit fest that is their show, because it doesn't have any substance. It just is that all the time.
Right. I don't know
But
why anybody even
Witsit in the
watches
past-
it. It's boring. Very boring.
Yeah. It's really
Witsit in the
boring. I
past
don't know
treated
why
other
anybody
people like
sits
that as
there.
well.
Yeah.
So I don't really like. It's not right that they treating him like that, but I don't feel sorry for him because he had it coming from my perspective.
What goes around comes around.
Okay, although David Weiss does his best to present himself as some sort of Christian these days, sometimes the mask slips and his juvenile vileness comes spilling out for all to see. Here he is indulging the Christian tradition of celebrating the destruction of a Christian church.
Now, you mentioned earlier how you think some of the current things going on, like the assassination attempt, could be because they're trying to cover up Flat Earth. How close do you think Flat Earth is to breaking into the mainstream?
I mean, and again, Flat Earthers have different opinions. Some people say it'll never happen in our lifetime. I don't see it not happening in 2024. It could happen. It could take a little bit longer. But, you know, I was just on Roseanne Barr. She's big, but let me tell you something. In a couple of months, that's not going to be considered big, right? Compared to some of the stuff that we're going to be getting on. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to send the trolls spiraling, because they're spiraling over my appearance on Roseanne Barr. I mean,
dude, that was epic.
There's some other big shows, but let me tell you something. You know, people laugh. Oh, Dave thinks that this whole thing with Trump was to stop Flat Earth. I was just about to go on a very big show, and they sidelined it for now because of the news. Okay, and rightly so. I get it. In this world, this is what they got to cover, right? But so I say it kind of jokingly, but it actually happened. It actually happened, right? It sidelined it for a little bit. They already know the Earth is flat. They just haven't realized how important this deception is, because it's the way they get away with everything, include from the ear, from the non-gushing blood ear to you know, amazing, to everything else. It's because we're spinning out of control, disconnected from God, lost in space, living in lack, living in fear, and that's how they control us. So some bigger shows now are starting to understand, and they are willing to have the conversation.
Now, Dave, you were at a debate event that happened last year in Tennessee, correct?
Yeah.
How did that go, that debate, and why is it so important to have public events and public debates and discussion regarding cosmology?
Well, you know, this was I don't know people's motives. I don't know if Pastor Locke is a paid agent, which I don't think he is. I just think that he has some, I don't know, demons in him that might be controlling him. And it's funny, you know, Dean Odell, I don't agree with everything Dean says, but Dean is right on with Flat Earth you know, information, and he's the one that pulled up all of those documents that say, you know, flat non-rotating plane. He put a lot of stuff together, and he laid out 41 undeniable Bible verses. And then Greg Locke, when it was his turn, he pulled a meme off the internet of 200 Bible verses that Flat Earth researchers think 90% of them are baloney, right? This was just some meme that somebody put out there, and we don't agree with it. It was done by a crazy guy, and he went through that as why Flat Earth is stupid. And we started yelling from the audience, like, those are not our claims. Stop strawmanning us. And then he complained that we were interrupting him, right? So it went kind of crazy, right? Like, how come you're not addressing anything that Dean said, right? But here's the irony. I don't know if you guys know this, right? Come back on screen so I can see you. One of the verses you talked about is when God scrolled back the sky and let the waters in, right? Do you hear what happened to Pastor Locke's church a couple months later in Tennessee? So
no, didn't.
The sky scrolled back, a massive snowstorm came in, and his church got flattened. His church collapsed after denying that's what that verse meant.
Wow.
Right? His church collapsed because the sky was scrolled back and the waters came in and literally, physically flattened his church. Right? God is hysterical. God has a sense of humor. I mean, it is funny. I don't wish ill upon anybody, but I thank Greg Locke for that lesson he just showed the world. You know, when you deny Scripture, Scripture's going to kick you in the butt in certain cases.
Oh, it ended. He's just awful, isn't he? I mean, it
Yeah.
never occurs to him
One
that it was a
moment.
church. You know, he talks about, oh, they're doing it to keep us away from God. And then he's celebrating a church getting wrecked.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a crucial part in there, and he says, "How this person strawmanned us? These are not our arguments. Why can he speak uninterrupted?" That's what they want all the time. Like, we need to clip this and play it to every fucking flat earther. Like, what the fuck? Double standards much?
Right.
It's true. It's true. But the thing is, he said, oh, well, you know, God did that. God intervened, yeah, because he's got a sense of humor. Well, if God's intervening everywhere, what's so fucking funny about earthquakes?
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah. Where's the mirth in malaria?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, where's the satire in floods? I don't know.
Yeah.
And when
He
somebody
is-
denies
he is-
God, then it's malaria. I mean, it's funny as hell.
He is fucking awful. I'm getting tired of looking at him.
I know, he is, isn't he? Just such a liar.
It's just like you see a clip down before it even starts talking, you just go, oh, inside. You just can't help yourself. You know what I mean?
Anyway, continuing in a biblical theme now, a newbie flatty who popped up a few times last year was Dustin Nemos, a despicable and stupid individual who made a very dumb argument in a debate with MC Toon. But before that, Dustin explains how it's easier to bullshit people about flat Earth if you pretend it's biblical. Enjoy.
What is a misnomer? It's when you inaccurately name or describe something. And I believe that's what's happened with concepts and naming conventions like flat Earth or even true Earth to an extent has its flaws. That's why I still stand by biblical Earth. It's really the only accurate phrase that you could use for the realm that we're in, because it's certain, you know, flat begs the question, is there a creator? Obviously. And many people who discuss flat, they also go into geocentricity, we're the center of the universe, and they go into stationariness, how we're not moving, spinning or revolving or eclipsing or any of that nonsense, but we're set on pillars, as God said. But from there it gets a little bit more subtle. There's also a firmament. I don't know if people know that, but there is a bubble on top. It is a physical, impenetrable barrier. It has always been there. It is holding back the waters above. Space is a lie. On the other hand, we also have evidence that the world is young. This is something that flat earthers rarely go into at all. I don't think I've ever actually seen them do it, except maybe Rob Skiba. But the evidence is overwhelming that we're on a world about 6,000 years old. And you can bring in all kinds of other sciences like genetics and archaeology when we start talking about some of these other concepts. And then the final sort of key to all of these things, in my opinion, is the science of prophecy, which holds up better to scrutiny than gravity. It is, in fact, 100% accurate every single time across thousands of years, in sync hundreds or thousands of times. So with that said, I want people to understand this is bigger than flat Earth. This is bigger than true Earth. Flat Earth proves that we live in a terrarium when you really follow the science. And once you understand we live in a terrarium, a creator is, of course, you know, has to be. It's implicitly in the creation. We're the center of the universe. We're not an accident. And most people, you know, as soon as they realize the earth is flat, boom, they know God is real. But which God? Prophecy tells you. Only one God can predict the future and lays claim to all of the many devastations like Sodom, Gomorrah, and the worldwide flood that ended all life on earth except for 3 men. And we can prove this with any chromosome on earth from any man or woman. It's in our very genetics. The story that goes back 6,000 years to mitochondrial Eve. They don't tell you the mtDNA mutation rates prove that it was, in fact, much shorter than their deep time theory. And they use, you know, carbon dating and other similar like techniques to spit out big numbers to deceive people so that they can push evolution to debunk God. That's what this is all about. Also, flat earthers usually don't go into how this was all a Roman Jewish Jesuit strategy to debunk faith in God, a counter to the Reformation. A lot of so-called people who are full of false knowledge, the way I personally used to be, believing all this nonsense about evolution and Big Bang Theory and globe Earth, shotgun blasting through space, cannonball covered in water. None of that makes any sense when you really understand how the mechanics and physics of this creation work. However, we're winning the arguments, but I want people to use the right framing. Why use flat Earth? It's such a weak name. Bring people back to God directly with this thing. Don't beat around the bush on this. This is a war between the children of darkness and mankind. It was right there in the Bible, which again is full of prophecies confirming which God is real when you go look into it. So it's not just flat. It's not just true. It's biblical Earth. It is flat, geocentric, stationary, young, domed, and hollow. Haven't even talked about that much lately, but there are things beneath us, including hell. So with that said, I hope you'll consider that the framing of the way that we pitch this to others matters. As a debate person, I like to debate. I don't want to go into something with flat Earth. It puts me on the losing end already because of all the propaganda, etc. out there, and it's just a weak, undeveloped name for something that is more developed now. We understand it better. Flat is no longer appropriate. It is so much more than that. So I hope you'll adopt it with me. Biblical Earth is bulletproof, and it overcomes many doubters right off the bat. They don't even know what you mean at first. Do you mean flat? But then they don't want to be mean and just say, well, that's stupid, because they don't want to offend the Bible, because the Bible is an absolutely flat Earth book. The firmament is firm, absolutely, and it's firm, and firmly so. I will also use this ice rink experiment I know you hate.
3 minutes left.
Here, which is frozen water, perfectly level, by the way. A ruler moving across. I know you hate this one, right?
I love it.
But I actually added the counters for your nonsense.
I love it.
Right. So ruler moves with perfectly level laser here, by the way. I don't know if you guys can see this.
What's the margin of error of that perfectly level laser?
I mean, it's close enough for the naked eye and this sort of mathematics. It's not perfect, but it's a good home experiment that works over a flat level surface, and it is something anyone can repeat and test. So you can try to win this with just math that doesn't hold up to actual real world observation, but I'm going to keep showing people evidence that they can test at home.
All right, so
we're going to see who wins.
What does the globe predict as the curvature across that ice rink that you're testing? Right, you have to do a falsification test. That's how you do science. So what is the globe?
We're testing
prediction?
for curve. There is no curve.
Yeah, exactly. What is the globe prediction for the amount of curve across that ice rink? How much? What's the globe's prediction? How much?
Pythagorean theorem, right here.
Pythagorean. And how much? Show me the application.
And here you go. Let's see. It's way less than 1 mile. It's way less than 1 mile.
Yep.
So help me with the math, expert. Show me. How much can you expect
You're the one.
to get off
You're
of,
the one making this
a block or so? Well, show me curve. I don't see any curve there. You're trying to tell me that there's curve, and because I can't see your curve, I'm crazy. I don't see your curve. It's not there.
The length of an NHL ice rink, the official length, 60.96 meters long. So across the entire length of it, which is not that test, but let's grant that for a second. The entire length of that, the amount of curve, which is the bulge in the middle in this one, for example, is 0.0729 millimeters. That's the predicted globe curve. So how did you test whether or not there's a 0.07 millimeter curve?
Should we do it with better lasers? Maybe. But is it a good example of?
No, it's a terrible example because the ruler is only it's so dumb. There's only markings every millimeter. You can't even measure more finely than 0.5 millimeter, and you're talking about a curve that you're trying to test, imagining that you're testing of 0.07 millimeters. Oh my goodness, you suck at science, man.
Goodness. Hey, math is not my strong point.
I know. Then why would you bring up something that requires math?
But you still can't debunk any of the things that I brought up, which were math related. And I understand the arguments.
Every one of them.
Is terrible, isn't he, debater? Just absolute garbage. I don't know if you
Flat
ever saw
earthers still will
that,
follow him.
but Toon absolutely trounced him in that debate. I mean, he hadn't got a
Well,
clue.
Toon made one big mistake. He assumed he understood what a millimeter was.
Yeah.
Well, I usually use a meter stick to find out to measure in a machine shop.
Right.
But they all do this. They think, well, I can't see it, and you say it's there, therefore it's not there.
Oh, no.
What do we say is there?
Yeah. They just don't.
Well, I can't see it in a glass of water.
They
Can't
don't.
see curvature.
They don't join this up ever,
do.
do they? They don't ever think anything through to the end. You know what I mean? It's just.
I need to go look at what the Pythagorean theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's not even related to that at all.
Same place occasions are at.
I mean that long diatribe about the Bible being the absolute truth and everything comports to it. It's just rubbish, just rhetoric, isn't it?
Right, hundreds of
You know,
thousands of prophecies confirm its truth. What are you talking about?
Mitochondrial Eve. I mean, whoever put that phrase together and put Eve in there nearly just fucking kicking.
Yeah.
He said only 3 men survived.
3 men. 3 men.
Yeah.
You wonder, though, I do wonder, though, how it is that young people like him can get themselves caught up in these most fundamentalist, I would even say extremist versions of Christianity. It's incredible, really. You know, there's so many other versions of it that I would think would be so much more appealing to young people. But so many of them just seem to go for this just a mental version, you know. Okay, in the autumn, as hurricanes left the Gulf of America, see what I did there, and swept across the USA, they left a trail of cognitive dissonance in their wake, with man-made climate change deniers insisting that man had changed the climate. Take a look.
What do you think happened with the hurricanes that happened in?
I think that they want the land. You know, I think that the government wants the land, and this is what they did.
But what do you mean what they did?
They made a fake tornado. Right. Yeah, they planted whatever they do. They
manipulated the weather.
The weather, exactly.
But you think the government manipulated the weather?
I think the government is not our friend, sir. The government is not our friend.
Do you think the government created the hurricane to hurt the United States?
Absolutely. Not to hurt the United. They want the land. They want the land for the what is that? The batteries, uranium stuff, whatever it is.
Lithium?
The lithium.
The only reason I know that is because another lady at a Trump rally told me.
Oh, they know. You don't know? You don't watch the news?
He knows.
I do watch the news, yeah. Do you watch the news?
No, not all of it.
This earth warming and carbon is actually healthy for us. It helps us to feed people. It helps keep people alive. It helps. The earth is more green than it was years and years ago, and that's because of the earth warming. That's because of carbon.
I am so fucking pissed. This goddamn blue government, I am so sick of their shit. They controlled the climate. They made that fucking hurricane on purpose.
Oh, that was that. Marjorie Taylor Greene in the middle there. What a dingbat.
I wonder what the reaction is going to be when hurricanes take place during Trump's upcoming presidency.
Right, how are they going to explain that away? That'll be interesting, won't it?
Yeah, it will be really. I mean, it's just, the government are creating hurricanes because they want lithium.
They'll just blame it on blue states, won't they? That's what they'll do.
Oh, that'll be what it is.
Yeah.
That'll be what it is.
Yeah.
These people reproduced. That's a scary thought.
Yeah, they vote and a lot of them have very sharp cutlery. I mean, this is all very worrying stuff.
They might even reproduce again. That's. I mean, it's.
Yeah, Green's past that age, but she's still in Congress.
Yeah.
Got reelected.
I
Can you
know,
believe that?
unbelievable, isn't it?
This warming is good for us.
Okay, we've.
Well, it's what?
Oh, go ahead.
I say she's saying that this global warming is good for us. What are you saying that global warming is occurring now?
Right.
All that to Southern California.
what we got next? Okay. Am I on the right one? Yes. UFOs, now rebranded to UAPs, were all over the news last year and once again made it to the floors of Congress. What is going on? Take a look.
Well, these agencies have been helpful to us in understanding the challenges that come from collecting UAP data. None of them have been able to substantiate the claims made at this hearing last year by David Grush. Despite our committee members endlessly questioning these agencies inside and outside of a SCIF, I'm deeply alarmed by the reporting of the massive drone swarm that flew over Langley Air Force Base in Virginia last December. Langley is the home of the 1st Fighter Wing, which maintains half of the F-22s in the U.S. Air Force inventory. Reports of this incident indicate these drones were roughly 20 feet long, flying more than 100 miles an hour at an altitude of over 3,000 feet. Yet the origin of these drones and their operators remains a mystery. This
confirmation that UAPs are real came to me in January of 2015 when I was serving as the commander of the Navy Meteorology and Oceanography Command. At the time, my personnel were participating in a pre-deployment naval exercise off the U.S. East Coast. It included the USS Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group, and this exercise was overseen by the United States Fleet Forces Command, led by a 4-star admiral who at the time was also my superior officer. During this exercise, I received an email on Navy's secure network from the operations officer of U.S. Fleet Forces Command. The email was addressed to all the subordinate commanders, and the subject line read in all capital letters, "Urgent Safety of Flight Issue." The text of the email was brief but alarming, with words to the effect, "If any of you know what these are, tell me ASAP. We are having multiple near mid-air collisions, and if we do not resolve this soon, we are going to have to shut down the exercise." Attached to the email is what is now known as the Go Fast video, captured on the forward-looking infrared sensor of one of the Navy F-A-18 aircraft participating in the exercise. The now declassified video showed an unidentified object exhibiting flight and structural characteristics unlike anything in our arsenal. The implication of the email was clear. The author was asking whether any of the recipients were aware of classified technology demonstrations that could explain these objects. Because the DoD policy is to rigorously deconflict such demonstrations with live exercises, I was confident this was not the case. The very next day, that email disappeared from my account and those of the other recipients without explanation. Moreover, the commander of Fleet Forces Command and the operations officer never discussed the subject.
Let me be clear. UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. Furthermore, the U.S. is in possession of UAP technologies, as are some of our adversaries. I believe we are in the midst of a multi-decade secretive arms race, one funded by misallocated taxpayer dollars and hidden from our elected representatives and oversight bodies. For many,
one of those individuals is a current or former U.S. government official acting as a UAP whistleblower. This person has written a report. This is the report that says the executive branch has been managing UAP NHI issues without congressional knowledge, oversight, or authorization for some time, quite possibly decades. The report to Congress details in detail various UAPs, including spheres, orbs, disks, saucers, ovals, triangles, boomerang, arrowhead, and irregular organic. The report describes various incidents found in the human intelligence databases. One involved orbs surrounding and forcing an F-22 out of its patrol area. In another incident, the crew of a Navy aircraft carrier watched a small orange-red sphere rapidly descend from a high altitude of 100 to 200 yards directly above the flight deck of the CVN, or aircraft carrier.
the vehicles we're talking about are performing in excess of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 Gs.
Do you believe, just for the record, that the federal government, any part of the federal government, is knowingly concealing evidence about UAPs from the public?
Yes, sir.
100%.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. I also want to just go down the line. I know many of you have already said this, but I just, for the record again, just briefly, what do you believe UAPs could be or are?
Strong evidence that they are non-human, higher intelligence.
I echo my colleague's comment, sir.
It was previously testified that there's biologics that were collected. Are you aware of any of that?
I am, sir, aware of the reporting that biologics have been recovered. Again, my focus was more nuts and bolts, looking at the physical aspects of these phenomenon, how they interacted around military equities and nuclear equities. So I'm certainly not a medical expert. I would not be able to probably provide you a whole lot of value in that simply because I don't have the expertise.
But was anything described as that we have possession of bodies?
Yes, yes.
We have is it multiple types of creatures or?
Sir, I couldn't answer that. I can tell you anecdotally that it was discussed quite a bit when I was at the Pentagon. The problem is the supposed collection of these biological samples occurred before my time, in fact, before I was even born.
And was this part of the Lockheed Martin discussion, or was this the biologics is a completely separate?
Separate yet related.
Okay. Has anyone made contact?
Sir, I'm sorry, could you specify?
Has there been any, to your knowledge, any communication with a non-human life form?
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively yes, but from a nonverbal meaning, when a Russian reconnaissance aircraft comes into U.S. airspace, we scramble 2 F-22s, and we are certainly communicating intent and capability. I think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled U.S. airspace, and they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear equities and our nuclear readiness.
The Earth is flat, birds are government drones, and we've never set foot on the moon, and Joe Biden received 81 million votes in the 2020 election. Are there any known instances of recovered materials or technologies that are not of human origin and maybe connected to any advanced bioscience defense programs within the USG?
I don't know.
I wouldn't be able to answer that, ma'am.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, so there are rumors that have come up to the Hill of a secretive project within the Department of Defense involving the manipulation of human genetics with what is described as non-human genetic material, potentially for the enhancement of human capabilities, hybrids. Are any of you familiar with that? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
I am not, ma'am.
I'm not.
No, ma'am.
Are there any accounts of UAPs emerging from or submerging into our water, which could indicate a base or presence beneath the ocean's surface?
I don't know about a base, but as I mentioned, I had a different source entirely describe this pretty extraordinary footage that exists of orbs, of an orb coming out of the ocean and being met by another orb.
Ah, it's interesting, isn't it, all this stuff? Anyone believe
like
any of
she
it?
subscribed to Dallas Dave's
It is.
newsletter.
Yeah, they're all aliens, all of them.
Well, that one guy, that Dr. Gallaudet, he's legit, though. He's a ex-rear admiral.
Right.
Yeah.
You could expect Marjorie Taylor Greene, really, to just be like, I have an expert witness, and just card out Dave and be like, hybrids, blue bloods.
Right, yeah.
Rear admirals lose their marbles too.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's an oceanographer, too, currently. I mean, he's actually pretty legit for a scientist.
Yeah, I was sitting there listening to them saying those things and thinking, wow, this is all very mysterious, and I don't know what to make of this, and is this real? Is this not real? And I was thinking, this is one of the occasions where you couldn't get a absolute conspiratorial nutbag to enough and make it worse. And then Lauren Boebert popped up.
Right, yeah.
With about 4 questions, and they're going, no,
Yeah.
no, madam. What are you on about, you crazy bitch?
Yeah, hybrids and underwater bases and oh god.
Underwater bases. Oh god. There you go.
Okay,
Biden, we're getting all those votes. Oh, craziness.
Yeah. We've still got 3 clips to come, and it's all flat Earth stuff. And the longest is 5 minutes, so hang around. The final experiment was so worrying for the flatties that the Hopium went into overdrive. Here is a gaggle of them making morbid predictions, including our old friend, Sleeping Warrior.
So, like, I think this time zone thing is going to be bigger than even the illumination bit as far as this trip is concerned. I don't know, man. It's like Super Bowl for flat earthers this weekend. So, like, I'm super psyched.
Either they're going to go there, get the evidence, but then there's going to be an accident on the way home and they'll all die. I know that's morbid, but that's what I think is going to happen because they can't allow this information to come out. Or they'll go there, or they'll say they're going there, but for some reason, the trip will not happen based on what happened with Greater Sapien. Regardless of whether Greater Sapien stole money or not, that trip did not happen. And reasons are irrelevant. The point was, we said it wouldn't happen. It did not happen. So based on that evidence that we've got so far, the trip will not happen, in my opinion, and they won't go. Because the problem they're going to have is establishing what is the direction that they're looking, because when you're that south, you can't see the North Star, and there is no South Star. You've only got the rotation of the sky, which they say is the South Pole, but you haven't got a way of knowing where North is, even if you can establish South. Because South has got to be 180 from North. You can't see North, so you're just assuming that that's 180 from North, because that must be the rotation in the pole. That's the Southern Pole. But the reality is, you have no idea whether that's true South or not, or magnetic South or not, because you don't know where North is. You would have to know where North is to be able to say, yeah, that is 180 from North. But in real world, I know that it's not, because declination wouldn't exist if it was.
What's getting me is the weather. I don't think they really check the weather. Because if you're looking at the weather, it's not going to help them at all.
The weather doesn't really matter, to be fair, though, because at night time, once it cools down and you've not got the effects of the biogeochemical cycle, you've not got all that moisture rising up, like all of that settles down at night time. But that won't stop you seeing that the sunlight where there shouldn't be sunlight if they're looking south, and it won't stop you from seeing the sun once at the point where it's supposed to be setting. It's not going to see, because it's going to be right on the horizon. You'll still see roughly where it's coming from.
I think that's how they did it back in the day.
So who thinks that they're going to make this journey and get back safely?
I don't think they're going to make it. I think the weather's, they're going to say, sorry, the weather's too, unfortunately, you can't go fly out.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to make it either.
They're stuck there. Yeah, they're not going to leave.
They're not going to leave. I don't agree. I don't think they're going. I agree completely.
I don't think they're going either.
If they're looking southerly, I saw the snip last night where they were looking at the horizon and they were seeing that there was light there, but no sun, obviously. And that was in a southerly direction. That to me is just game over for the globe, because like it's got to be northerly. It can't be southerly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not remember when I think it was the Cook expeditions that were trying to go circumnavigate the whole of Antarctica, and it took them, instead of it taking 4 or 5 weeks, it took them 7 or 8 months and used like 10 times more fuel than what they were expecting. They've kind of done that with boats. I mean, yeah, they should do it with planes, but they're never going to do that because they'll just say they don't need to prove it. It's already proven.
It's already proven.
Dum.
The brilliance of Sleeping Mario. What a fucking idiot. Oh, well, at night time.
When it gets nighttime down there, they can see the stars.
Yeah.
And how can we see south? I mean, how can we determine south? It's impossible.
Right.
What fuel did Captain Cook use when he circumnavigated?
Oh, no, that was a good one, wasn't it? The fuel. Yeah.
Oh, God.
He's just so utterly clueless, isn't he? I mean, I don't think he'd even got a picture in his mind of what their observation would look like. You know, he seemed very confused about the whole thing, didn't he? Like,
he did, yeah.
You know.
Well, he was saying they're not going to leave because the last time this happened, they didn't leave. That's evidence they're not going to leave this time. Whatever that means. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to leave. They get some information that's going to be the Mardi Gras, the Calypso time for Flat Earth, and they're going to die on the way back. So the information is hidden. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not. They're going to die. They're going to get stuck down there. Someone said. I mean, just where are all these voices now?
They were just so desperate for it not to happen, weren't they? They're just shameless. I mean, don't they realise how bad it looks when they're doing that stuff, you know? When they're supposed to be truth seekers and they're cooking up strategies to not seek truth, you know?
One of the things that Vape...
He spent 2 minutes trying to get himself, talk himself out of the confusion that he had. That's like, he had no clue where he was going. None.
Right, because his whole point about not knowing where north was, where south was, is irrelevant. If you see the sun go round you 360 degrees, it doesn't matter where south is, does it? It was somewhere in one of those places where the sun was at some point. If it went if it was, you viewed it in every direction possible, one of them must have been south.
And look how it's changed for Flatfoot. He's doing all of those things he was doing, all that rhetoric there, yeah. And now he's finding out saying, well, Witz had a vape on him.
Right.
I mean, this is where he's ended up.
Right.
Vapegate.
Yeah.
What a waste of time.
Yeah, just ridiculous, aren't they, these people? They're the worst,
God.
I think. The ones who are denying the thing happened and cooking up ways to deny it happened. They're worse than the ones, I think, than the ones who are sort of just ignoring it and saying, oh, well, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Witz that's a woman now. Witz that's a woman. This is the latest thing, isn't it? It's anything now. I can't imagine. I haven't been looking, to be honest, because I'm too busy what they're saying about Jaren this past week. But you can imagine where that's going to go.
Right. It's awful, isn't it? It really is. Anyway, it's getting late, so let's move on. Witsit Gets It was keen to display his intellectual prowess on the Antarctica trip. Here he is in Punta Arenas, posing and doing press-ups like a complete knobhead.
I never said I did it definitively. My whole point the whole time was like, we can't go there to freely and privately explore. I don't know what it does, and I think it's weird. I've known some people that worked for NASA that were down there said they didn't see it. Right, all the footage seems to be faked or questionable, and the webcam's cut out for 8 hours. So like we don't have sufficient evidence to know. I don't just believe it. Looks like maybe it doesn't do that.
That's gonna be insane.
Dude, these people are so funny. They're so salty. Look, Jaren is like, ha ha ha. It's so good that Flat Earth is gonna be dead. Ha ha ha. LOL. What's it? Bro. You guys told me that Flat Earth was dead this whole last 2 years, and guess what? A bunch of Globers collectively just spent $500,000 to cater to an observation that we wanted to make.
Thank you. I like what.
I just think this is so funny because
again, if
you guys are going to get so triggered when I double down harder than ever on Flat Earth. You're going to get so triggered.
Let me have one of those. Oh, wait, let me mute up real quick.
They said Flat Earth was dead for so long, bro. They've been telling me that for so many years. And the reality is, it's bigger than ever. I get contacted by military personnel, military contractors that own businesses that create technology that literally prove the Earth is flat and stationary. I get contacted by athletes and actors and musicians and physicists, astrophysicists, literal astrophysicists from Harvard, PhDs in astronomy, you name it, that say that the Earth is flat, bro, that they say we were lied to about cosmology, okay? That has happened more in the last 2 years and specifically the last 6 months than ever before, okay? The creator's doing something, and you should just be super excited because we're going against a side that lies, slanders, enjoys humiliating people, enjoys attacking people, will never concede, plays defense attorney for the super evil beast system that lies about everything. Same kind of people that would defend putting fluoride in children's water to make formula that kills them, that inject. Instead of just going, my point is the creator is always going to support the side of the people that speak truth unequivocally and that get attacked for it. Okay, so the creator is obviously doing something. He's doing something right now. So if you truly know there's a creator, you should be like, this is so cool. We get to experience history in a moment of time that no one in the history of Earth that we know about has been able to really go and truly try to verify it the way that we're doing and making the measurements and readings that we're making. It doesn't exist ever. If you had told a flat earther in 1800 that they could go fly out and make all these cool, super cool measurements of what goes on in Antarctica in terms of the sun, they would have been ecstatic. Okay, we're about to go further towards the extremities of the Earth than any flat earther has ever gone. That's incredible, objectively incredible. Last thing I'm going to say, it's like we're throwing a party, okay? And it's super cool. It's high. It's good vibes. Everyone's just having fun, okay? We're just uplifting each other, having a great time. It's a blast. They're just trying to come into the party uninvited and kick over the jukebox and be like, no, this song sucks. What are you guys doing? Right? That's all they're doing. So it's just like, buddy, you weren't invited to the party. It's okay if you stay. I need you to just please stop sucking. Okay? That's it. Just ignore them. Act like they're not even at the party because they really weren't invited.
So I saw great reactions. So I mean, that's just not part of it. I think that it'll be world changing if we see the sunset. and that's enough. But why would I need to be, also let me just piggyback on that and make fun of this guy and humiliate this guy? I just don't see the need. Again, maybe that's because I have better things going on in my life, and the people who need to do that don't. That's the only way I can see it. It's the only thing that makes any sense to me. We're going to get ready to go back inside, though. 1,100 people watching live. Wow, what is this, like Alex Stein show? Crazy. Wow, look at what it looks like. He looks like Leif Erikson. That's who you look like.
I gotta do Jaren's push-ups. Hey,
thank you.
If you guys,
where's FTFE? FTFE, how many push-ups for a $5,000 donation in Austin's name? Is FTFE here? Probably not.
That's just the craziest story I've ever heard.
Who's hating on who? What am I missing here?
Okay. Like I said earlier, some people were trying to help support on Cash App, but Cash App obviously is rejecting them. So if you want to donate to help with some of the stuff I bought today, etc., Whitson at protonmail.com.
That's true.
What a tit.
Well, this is
I was going to say, what a tool.
This is what Adamson and Scott did, you know.
Yeah, did push-ups.
Yeah, and stood like fucking Power Rangers for 25 minutes.
He's so full of shit. I get contacted by military people that have made military hardware that proves the Earth is flat. Fuck off.
Yeah. Is this the same military people who told you there was no the sunset down there?
Right. So full of shit.
You stop going on about those people that work down there as engineers. You stop mentioning those people. I can't make a connection. I don't know why you stopped.
I don't believe
I
don't believe all this shit about these people that have contacted him. It's probably Fight the Flat Earth trolling him or someone like that, you know.
Yeah, no chance. No chance.
I mean, you know, the fact that, you know, they've read this stuff with Jaren this week, but he's on live stream himself saying, yeah, we went up to the guys who worked down there and said, yeah, what time's the sunset? You know, they really, really thought the sun was going to set. They really did think it.
Yeah.
Did you ever justify how true something was by how cool the participant could pose?
I know. He's so ridiculous, isn't he? Just so ridiculous.
How tall is he?
He's like a TikTok kid, isn't he?
Yeah. This is the furthest south that Flat Earth has ever been. Mate, you're going to a fucking tourist resort.
Yeah.
You lazy cunt.
I know, and he, you know, all that stuff about, they've just spent $500,000 to do an observation we wanted to make. He did everything he could to avoid it, and so did loads of them. Sargent did, Dubay did, Weiss did. They didn't want to make this observation. They wanted to be able to keep bullshitting about it and pretend it was this mystery that none of us could ever experience.
Did you think people would be, giving him a much? Did you think when he was doing that, as he was stood there in front of Uranus, and they were still looking down, they go, look, it's setting here, I think it's going to sit down there, it's sitting here, yeah. And saying, chill out, everyone, it's a good vibe, it's a good vibe. Did you think he was thinking, perhaps people were thinking, oh, he's got a vape with him, or he's a woman?
Yeah.
I wonder if he thought that as he was doing all that.
Yeah. Okay, it's the last clip, and there can only be one clip to finish our show. Arguably the most monumental piece of Flat Earth content ever recorded. Not just last year, but ever. Take it away, Will.
So obviously you all know Jaren Campanella of Jarenism, one of the most popular Flat Earth YouTube channels.
Not for long. All right, guys. Sometimes you are wrong in life. And I thought that there was no 24-hour sun. In fact, I was pretty sure of it. But I respect Will Duffy for being a stand-up guy, at least in the way that he kept saying it was true. I kept saying it wasn't. He said, you want to go, I'll take you. And brought me here. And it's a fact. The sun does circle you in the south. So what does that mean? You guys are going to have to figure that out yourself. Don't listen to my beliefs or my opinion. It shouldn't matter to you. But at least you should be able to accept that the sun does exactly what these guys said as far as circles the southern continent. So that's about it. I realize that I'll be called a shill for just saying that. And you know what? If you're a shill for being honest, so be it. I honestly believe there was no 24-hour sun. I honestly now believe there is. That's it. If you want to call me a shill, so be it. I'll live to see another day, and at least I know that I got to see it. And I just want to say thanks to Will through everything. You've been at least kind to me, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate the trip. If you guys want to, my whole master plan worked for getting a free trip out here, and to. But no, it's amazing. I can't even tell you. Flying in was the best thing I've ever seen. So, looking around, best thing I've ever seen. So, how could I give him a hard time for bringing me down here? $35,000 trip. It's been incredible. It will continue to be incredible. We've got some tracking mounts swinging around, seeing the sun. What does it mean? You have to figure it out. To me, it means that the AE map no longer works. But that doesn't mean that I'm right. It means that it could work. You'll have to figure out how, because I've tried and I struggle with it. The other thing is a 24-hour moon. If that happens, you got another thing we got to worry about. So it seems like the moon does circle here as well. So you start thinking about that as well. It doesn't mean that AE map is over, flat Earth is over. Maybe somebody's got the answer. I don't have that answer right now. So just want to say thanks again. Appreciate it. Thanks, bro. Yep.
Yeah, and that was that.
Well, that was recorded live from the Blue Pill Truman Dome Studios.
Yeah. Poor Jaron. I do
He
feel
can't-
sorry for him and the way they've treated him. But they are fucking despicable people, aren't they?
Yeah.
He trained them. What are you talking about? He's the one who taught them how to do that.
Well, I know, but
you can see it, Pete. You can see the start of what occurred earlier this week taking place there, can't you? You can
Right.
see him folded arms. He's kind of very sort of like he's very I don't know,
defensive.
Describe
perhaps.
it really. Yeah, he is a
I
bit.
give him credit for eating humble pie. That's the only credit I give.
Right.
Sure.
His last video was pretty good. He called them a bunch of idiots.
Right, he really did, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my review of 2024. I hope you all enjoyed it, all 37 clips of it, if you've been here from the beginning. And if you did, hopefully you'll join us again in 2 weeks from now, where it's going to be another very flat earthy show, I feel, because I've got a lot to catch up on that I haven't covered for the last 2 weeks. So please join us for that. It'll be at 10 p.m. UK time, as was this show, 2 weeks from now. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much to this massive panel that's here tonight as well. Thank you for all you guys and your contribution. Thank you very, very, very much to everyone who super chatted the show. You help keep the lights on and make it all worthwhile. Thank you very much for being here. See you in 2 weeks' time.
Stop talking about it and do something! Suck my big earth with that bullshit. Really?
It's like a dental ache. Do we have another benevolent service? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you benevolent? His friends are.
My name's Logan Law, and I think I'm coming out of the fire closet. This is so fucking depressing. I can't be a flat earth person. Can't have a first place. Can't have a flat earth. And things making sense.
And we're off.